This program is rated MA. It contains adult themes, coarse language, sexual references, and violence.
All right. Friday night, open comms. We're back. Sorry we missed last week. Real quick.
He's not really sorry.
Well,
he's just saying that.
I'm Drayden. Dirk's here. We got Brisk. I was about to call you Blastum, but you're Brisk. And then McLeod is here. He is also hosting the stream since I can't do it from where I'm at. But so thank you, McLeod, and also welcome to the show.
Hey.
And Matterall's with us. How's it going, man?
Good.
Hi, Matterall. You sounded kind of low there.
Blast, yeah, you do sound a little bit low.
Yeah,
Let's see what I can do.
I guess I should make it announcement. Blastum's not here because he's got a game that he's calling the shots for tonight. He does that for a high school, so he'll be on and off now until basically through October, November, something like that. And Rain's not here. Rain's not here mainly because, okay. And people aren't going to necessarily understand this exactly, but some of us have wives, and she doesn't want to kind of infringe upon the relationship we have with our wives by having a female on the show. And it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing that she like after reading the whole ninja thing.
Are you doing? Yeah, I was about to say.
She took it upon herself. So I mean, nothing I can do about that. She's actually over in the UK. She wasn't going to be here last week, which is one of the reasons why we couldn't have the show last week, because we literally had nobody. I think
it was literally nobody.
It was just going to be you, right? No, you couldn't even do it.
Well, I mean, if I could have, I mean, McLeod was willing to host last week, but I would have been the only one here. But I had other stuff to do. Dirk was at the Jersey Shore. Rain's up on a plane to the UK. Blastum was working. I wasn't gonna. Brisk was like, "What the fuck?"
Brisk was trying to do the show. He was.
We were trying.
Him and Opus Magnum were trying to put together, but it was kind of last minute. And Fat B was kicking off last week. I think that was the opening day for Fat B streaming, which is the kind of sister channel of Imperium News Twitch, but for other games and things like that. So that was their kind of kickoff day and whatnot. So I think they were kind of keen to use this time slot if it was going to be open. For that, but other than that, if it wasn't kind of late notice and that was happening, I wouldn't have had a problem just turning it over to
Well, that's what I was
Brisk.
telling.
I'm not sure I'd turn it over to Opus, but
well, I was telling Life Shift because it was FatB TV. That's the new variety streaming thing that INN has. So INN is this is going to be all the talk show Eve related stuff. So Eve talk shows, Eve streaming, stuff like that. The FatB TV is where all the variety streaming for other games is going to go. So it was their opening weekend, their opening day, and so he was like, "Well, if you guys aren't going to be there, let's just let it host, and then people can find the channel that way." So they were doing that. I mean, I was fine. I was like, if someone else, there was other people like House Hendo got a hold of me. He's like, "Hey, I can stream it." I was like, "Dude, I can't give you the stream key. I'd get in trouble." So
yeah.
So it's it would have to be run by someone that's on the INN team. So.
Right. Well, yeah, which was one of the things that was going to be tried, but again, it was kind of short notice, so it couldn't go off. But whatever. You know what? That was the first week we've taken off, of the show in 2 years. I mean, I think that this was the longest.
It was over
stretch.
It was the last time we missed a show. BC was still hosting it.
Yeah, I mean, this
not
was the
like
longest.
BC was there, and BC was actually still doing the hosting on his end. So
this was the longest stretch that we've ever had. But because usually once a year there would be at least 1 week that that we would knock off. But generally speaking, we don't miss more than 2 weeks a year. And the last 2 years we've been over that.
So. I mean, I've been on the show for 5 years, 5.5 years, and I think I've only seen us miss 4 or 5 shows, and one of those was because we got suspended from Eve Radio for
not because of me.
No. But yeah, so
oddly enough, but so I got back. So somebody was asking, was I on the Jersey Shore? No, but you know what? It kind of went like that. we had a Jersey Shore moment this week. It was like from season 1. My daughter was down there with 3 of her. She brought 3 girlfriends this time. So we had a rather packed. I was the only guy in my house.
Dude, I was just about to say, you were the only guy. How did you survive that long with 4 Jersey girls? I
had my wife, my daughter, 3 of her girlfriends, my mother, and my mother-in-law in the house. It was yeah, I had to go out into the onto the deck quite a bit at night and just sip some beers and just kind of because couldn't watch any TV at night, if we were doing anything. But you know what, it was kind of a weird year because my daughter's obviously graduated from high school now, and her friends are either her age or older or whatever, and we were sitting out there. This was really different. We were sitting out there having much different conversations this year. As she gets ready to head off for college and whatnot, this felt like the year that she wasn't a kid anymore. It was different, and it was really kind of cool because in a way I kind of feel like my daughter, who I kind of lost at about 8 or 9 years old when she decided that mommy was her better friend then, now she's kind of back into a different mode where daddy comes back into play again. And that was kind of cool. But we had a kind of a Jersey Shore moment this week where we had been playing some beer pong, just a little bit of beer pong, and then my daughter and one of the other girls got into a freaking argument, and it turned into a freaking just yell fest, and the grandmothers are stop cursing, stop whatever. And the other girl ended up calling her boyfriend to come get her at 4 o'clock in the morning. So we had somebody who left the house. It was complete fucking Jersey Shore fight.
God damn.
Nobody pulled anybody's hair out or anything like that. But I was just like, whatever. You know what? The house will be better off without her.
Made me spill water on myself.
I'm telling you, that's exactly. I'm trying to. It was just like season 1 when Angelina left.
I never watched that show, but it looked like trouble.
I totally forgot that I'm actually not running the thing, so I wasn't recording. I just started the recording, so I'll have to go to. Luckily, I caught it. So
we'll go to the VOD.
Yeah, well, I only have to record the first 5-10 minutes.
Start it all over again.
That's all. Let's just cut it and we'll just start again.
No,
everyone, hopefully you remember what you just got them saying. Yeah,
we're not doing that, Drayden. You have no power here.
But anyways, yeah. So it's kind of weird, After I was away. Well, I was away that first Friday because I had left early to go down there and whatnot, and then you guys didn't have the show last week while I was still away. And now it's I come back after missing 2 shows. It's I don't even know what freaking things and I don't click that much here to get it done. But I was trying to figure it out, and I'm oh my god, it's I haven't done this in a while. And then, sorry for the prelude, everybody out there, about what Dirk's life is like. And then I get back, and 2 days later, we get this massive ass rainstorm here in Pennsylvania, and my basement floods, which is where my office and my man cave is. So I spent the last 2 days ripping out freaking carpet and padding and literally I was sitting here talking to Matterall and a couple other people in Talking in Stations Discord, and my wife comes down, she's like, it's flooding, and I look over and the water's 6 inches from my foot and from my barefoot, and I'm she's like, you didn't see it? I'm like, well, no, it hadn't hit me and I wasn't looking at the ground. And I just disconnect from everything, unplug my PCs, run my PCs upstairs, and then just start bailing. And it was just a fucking nightmare. And then I lost power today. So it's man, I have got some bad karma. I admit it.
And then there was a car crash. Nobody got hurt, but
yes, on the way to the shore from Connecticut.
Another car wreck.
Yes, another car. So we literally just left the house here in Pennsylvania to head down to head to Jersey to go down to the shore. We were going to meet my mother, who was coming from Connecticut with one of my daughter's girlfriends, at a midway point, and then go the rest of the way. We're about 5 minutes out of our house here when we get a phone call that she was at a stop sign behind a city garbage truck in Connecticut that decided that it was going to back down the street, and it backed into her minivan and ripped the freaking front end of it off and whatnot. So I had to drive from Pennsylvania to Connecticut to pick them up and then take them to the Jersey Shore. So whatever. Bad karma, bad karma, bad karma. I admit it. It's my fault. I earned it all.
Yep, you had it. You had some.
Fuck, I just hope it's over. I hope it's over, man. It's like I'm like you guys know the the car accidents and things like that have happened to me over the course of the last 3 months and whatnot. Not happened to me, but it happened to people around me and whatnot. I'm like looking over my shoulder now, man. I'm like getting jittery.
You're like one dead dog away from a country song, Dirk. It's pretty bad.
And I stopped before and I forgot. RZA for Shizza just reset for 16 months. Thanks, man.
Thanks, RZA.
RZA?
Oh, but yeah, so sorry for filling people in on the crazy shit that's happened to me and all that kind of stuff. No really cool stories from the Jersey Shore. I mean, we went out, saw things, went on the beach. It was really fucking cool.
What kind of things?
We went out to see some bands and shit. I love going to those little joints down at down at the shore, where they got the local cover bands and stuff like that. Because they got some really good ones that are out of Philly and whatnot that play down there. And the South Jersey Shore. And by the way, people, I'm talking about the South Jersey Shore, not that freaking North Jersey Guidette, and where the beaches aren't really that big. Like South Jersey is they've got big wide beaches and things like that, and it's a much nicer part of the state. But it's like we call it the Philadelphia Shore because that's pretty much what it's stacked with. It's stacked with people from Philly.
Do you have I didn't notice this, but do you have gray hair, or is that the camera?
No,
he's got gray hair.
No, I got gray hair.
Is he touching gray?
I took a picture of myself.
Or are you doing
not a picture of myself, but I took a picture down there, and it's I'm man, I'm getting salty on the sides.
Just do the touch of gray.
Ooh, that's what my wife keeps telling me. She's like, you can't get gray. She's like, you gotta dye it. I'm like,
you gotta find it. Get some just for men.
I've been waiting to go gray for 20 years so I can get some respect around town. Everybody looks at me like you look like a baby. I can't talk to you. You're too young.
You do look kind of like a baby now that I look at you.
What can I say? I got a baby face.
What is?
I don't know who's trying to call you.
Is somebody calling somebody on Skype?
Someone's calling Drayden, I think.
Somebody.
Oh yeah.
Is it Rain?
It's Curious Mazer.
Is it Rain drunk dialing from the UK?
I just want to say this because we did miss it at the start, but RZA for Shizza actually subbed for 16 months in a row. So thank you for that.
Dude. I got him. And then Shoemaker Lowe's did 6.
Oh yeah, nice.
He was asking me about a thing I'm doing tomorrow night, so I'll have to talk to him later.
Well, as long as we have a little, I guess we can do a little bit of plugging right now, and then at the end of the show, if you don't mind. Tomorrow is the Alliance tournament last day, I believe, and we're going to have a viewing party in San Diego area. So it'll be a lot of people at this place called Kaminsky's Barbecue, which is actually north of San Diego. But if you are in the LA area or Southern California area, you should drive down there. I'm getting up at 5 a.m.
That's the place where Carneros usually has the...
Yes, and he's hosting this one. So This is his party. And I'll be driving down there early in the morning. I'm going to pick up Gobbins and drive him down there, and Lady Scarlet's going to meet us down there, and then there'll be a bunch of people from the San Diego area and stuff. Should be fun.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, since we're on kind of the fact that that's the Alliance tournament viewing price, so this isn't the normal meetup that takes place, right? This is just happens to be that. No, because it would have to be early. Who the hell does a player meetup at that time of the morning on the west coast of the United States?
Yeah, it's 8
you guys
in the
having pancakes or something? I mean, like, are they even serving food and drinks, or like, is
breakfast?
it just come in for kegs and eggs?
I thought we were getting there because that's when the thing starts, but I don't really know why it's opening at 8 a.m. I assume that's when the first match was, so we needed to get down there really early.
I mean, Christ, 15...
you guys got a pre-party. You got time. You gotta get good slots before the fight.
Is Dunk going? Dunk, you going? Dunk's out in chat, so I'm asking.
I've been trying to get Dunk to go, but
matches start tomorrow at 1500 UTC, 1500 Eve time. The broadcast starts at 14:30.
That's like 9 o'clock.
So that's like even earlier than what we do talking in stations and whatnot. But so
Looney Fucker set us up at 25.
Fuck yeah,
Looney.
Nice.
Shots. I'm just feeling like what I'm not saying I'm doing it because of a thing, but it's like I haven't had one in a while.
Because we're like, so it's a low ball. I'm doing shots out of a low ball because apparently my brother doesn't have shot glasses. He has not a single shot glass in this whole house. I'm a little disappointed. It's like, am I even related?
Ghost was kind of always like that, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, you know, I don't know.
It's like, here's give it to the kids. Put juice in it.
Here's to the viewers. Thanks for coming out, guys, ladies and gentlemen, whatever. You know, God bless you all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so what do we have tomorrow? We've got Triumvirate versus what? The Hydra B team.
I think Vidra. I think is what they're calling.
Yeah.
Vidra. Yeah.
They're kind of like the Hydra B team. Anyways, and the winner of those two, right, is going to go on to play Hydra in the.
I'm hoping Tri wins. I don't want to see a Vidra versus Hydra.
Tri looks,
you know the funny thing.
We've already seen Hydra versus
yeah,
Hydra.
exactly. You know the funny. Yeah, exactly. The funny thing is, like, even on this Alliance tournament, they got knocked out by Hydra into the lower bracket. So if they win against Triumvirate, they're coming back and playing them again. It's fucking ridiculous. Oh well.
Yeah. But I mean, it should be, it should be good. I was trying to ask Apotheny today, or I was trying to ask in Talking Stations real quick, because like every year, I feel like every year for the last couple of years, I feel like we go through this thing of, wait, hold on, what was the relationship again between Vidra, Reloaded, or whatever, and Hydra? And it's not just that they practiced together; there was a relationship, at one time, and like. I couldn't quite get the answer, and then Apotheny, because he's just like the man who knows all the things about Alliance Tournament and whatnot, came through, and basically there was like a split that happened following the whole collusion thing during Alliance Tournament 13 and whatnot. They're still friends, they're practice partners, and all that kind of stuff. There's no evidence that there's any further collusion or anything like that, but and that's really what I was just trying to get at was kind of the idea that there was a connection, which obviously there had to be, right? You don't name yourself Vidra Reloaded, unless you came out of Hydra or whatever.
What's the name? I don't understand that name.
What, Vidra Reloaded?
So it's not Reloaded.
It's just kind of like a
LOL.
Yeah, it's basically a dumb piss take of a name. It's a joke.
I get that it's a joke.
Matterall is her name aficionado, which I knew you would not like that name. Would you rather have Pen is out?
No.
Okay, so there you go. So that's how you end up with Vidra Reloaded. How about that?
Exactly.
Fine.
Unless I'm describing it in some different way, like no.
Anyways, yes, Matterall is not a fan of meme names. NC Dot.
Yeah.
That's not. I did not name that.
I know, but whatever. Anyways,
I'm still gonna blame you for it.
What was funny was I was just trying to get to the background of kind of like where they came from, just as a reminder to myself of where they came from, because for some reason or another my old ass can't remember this shit from freaking year to year. And then he goes through and he gives me kind of like a rundown. He's like, the groups are still friends and have been practice partners since, but within, let's say, the letter of the collusion rules as far as anyone is able to detect. And due to some game changes, there are a few extra things that are easier to detect. Realistically, that social group have been distinctly the best at tournament the best AT tournament play since PL lost its old guard. They're not undefeatable, but are certainly a level above the rest of the competition. I'm assuming we have a repeat of last year's finals tomorrow, so he's calling it in favor of Vidra. Tri have looked fantastic, better than ever, but Hydra/Vidra finals with them both fielding setups from the same playbook with minor variations is my prediction. Like you can't even just ask Apotheny a basic question about the Alliance tournament without him going full on fucking
analyst.
All this shit in my head, man.
I mean,
practicing.
I just like parody.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
I like a little bit of parody in the fact that it's like, I mean, Tri hasn't won it, obviously. I mean, between Vidra and Hydra, it's like the same. I mean, they're sister alliances. It's almost like the same guys. It'd be like, well, I don't want to say red versus blue, like blue and red teams, because I would actually like to see that in the finals. That would be like the one, not collusion, but the two sister teams that I would actually be fine with seeing in the finals is the red versus blue sides.
I like it when it's active war, like opponents that end up being against each other, like when it was fraternity versus test and the beginning. That was great. I thought that was fun. I like it when there's a little bit of war morale type stuff going on in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those kind of setups are always, it's always good to kind of see that kind of thing going on. I was a little surprised, because obviously I have not been able to watch a lot of this. I tried to catch a little bit on my mobile while I was down at the shore and stuff like that. But I was surprised to hear for the second year in a row, man. Second year in a row, and PL doesn't make it to the final weekend. That's big, and Epophany, who's part of PL, actually put that in there. The PL lost its old guard, and I don't know exactly what that means, but
well, I remember the first one they lost when they had the Rabasu in there. And Elise was commentating. He's just like, right off the bat before the match even started, he's like, yeah, like this is definitely stacked against PL. Like that, he's like that shit's dead. Like he didn't even need to see the match.
Somebody out there, who was it?
Even the Yankees have rebuilding years, right? So it happens.
Yeah, you're not a Yankees fan.
Exactly.
I'm not a Yankees fan. Fuck
okay.
Maybe PL is trying to go for draft picks.
Yeah, there you go. Right, exactly.
We're rebuilding. Trust the process.
CCP should enter a team. They'd get hammered, but it would be fun. This was the year to do it because obviously they didn't have enough teams early on in the tournament, right? Like there were some empty slots that were still there. That would have been a year for. That would have actually been kind of funny, I think. I think that would have actually been maybe cool. Maybe CCP should have a team in it.
I'm interested to see what kind of flagship fits we're going to see in the final rounds.
You know what they should have? They should have like a team of salvagers that go out and like clean up the battlefield after. It's kind of like, them sweeping the bodies and blood off the Roman Colosseum floor or whatever.
There's
and then
a graphic
they can have Doug
that
and yell at them about why they need T2 salvage drones because it takes so long.
Right. Well, I think that I've always said that, and I'm a fan of the AT, but I've always thought it could be enhanced with a little more
mining.
I don't know.
Planetary interaction. What if you had to race to a planet, interact with it, and then fight?
What if in the middle of the match just random asteroids spawn and it started causing
and you had to
bumping
mine
and
them, or they would like kill your entire side or something? Like a blue asteroid.
Just a sudden dread. Well, just a sudden dread spawn.
Expanding, and if you didn't kill them or the opponent fast enough, you'd all get pushed out of the arena.
Abby says like a Zamboni. Exactly.
Yeah, like a Zamboni.
But maybe that needs to be a graphic for Even T or the plus 10 team or whatever.
The Zamboni,
the Zamboni comes across and just sweeps everything away.
Well, you could do it with a Noctis, like have it just kind of go by and like all the tractor beams are pulling the Rex as it goes out. Like
but it would have to be like a CCP level Noctis, right? Like like a super high level, like 50 freaking tractor beams or however many 20 tractor beams and whatnot that are like able to scoop in all
like max 10 ships per side, so you give it
20
20 high slots.
You give plus
or just an old school AoE Doomsday through a Sino that just clears everything.
There you go, exactly. It clears off all the dead shit.
But anyways, so that's tomorrow. Tomorrow is the finals. So if you have not watched the Alliance tournament through any of the rest of it, or you only watched it when your team was there, tomorrow, will be the day when the new victor is crowned, which probably the old victor. Hydra's gonna win. They are, right? I mean, they are, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
However, I do. You know what? We've had only one shot tonight. I am doing this next shot to Even T and plus 10 because as much as I talked last year about how they should take over doing the Alliance tournament coverage, and then it turned out that they did. They have done really good fucking coverage.
They have,
like
every
last bit of what it is that they do, from the graphics on up, are really high quality. Absolute freaking props to them. I'm really glad that a player-run group, has been able to put that together. It just shows the talent that is out there amongst the community and all that. So,
no doubt, but
the show is goon-free on purpose.
It's not goon-free. Dirk's in TNT.
I'm in TNT.
Brisk is in Goons.
I'm like the redheaded nephew of Goons.
You're
so is apparently Jintan. Jintan is apparently a goon. So me and Brisk are goons as well.
We'll get to Jin in a second. Don't front run us.
Oh shit! Sorry.
This is the Event and everybody who's associated with it on the technical side, on the commentary side. Hell of a freaking job. Can't wait to watch you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the first full day I can do it. I'm glad it's the finals. Good luck to everybody who's in it. Yeah. But totally props to Event and Plus 10 Gaming.
Yeah, Event did a great job. The announcers do a great job. All these kids, I was gonna say, and I should say,
which
kids,
one of our people, Chocolate Rain, is there as a commentator,
doing a great job.
Oh yeah.
Right. Are you
Matt, is it okay
Why am I being
thank
talked
them
over?
for participating?
Because this isn't TIS, for God's sake, Matterall.
I know.
You have to understand this.
Speak up. Have a set of balls, Matterall.
That was a joke. That was a joke for Dirk. But
okay.
But the idea that all this work goes into it, and yet, if I'm not mistaken, the viewership is down, right? Does that validate what CCP thought about this and was like, yeah, we're not going to like put a bunch of effort into it?
I'm wondering, like, I would wonder if you have to track it like back, because you can't just look at that direct correlation. Because I think in the past, like the viewership for each consecutive Alliance tournament has been going down, and so this might just be a coincidental trend, like along that same trend.
Since when though? When you say the viewership has been going down, can you track that with the rest of Eves that's been going down?
It's like 4 years ago, the Alliance
Does it
tournament
track?
There was 10,000 viewers at one time, weren't there?
Well, I don't know. Was that?
No, I think the most I ever saw was like 3,000 or 4,000.
Part of it is, I think, that the reason why we had fewer groups this time was that the rules were kind of crazy, and a lot of things.
I think it made it more interesting, though.
Well, it made it interesting. I think it did make it more interesting, but a lot of teams looking at that are going to say, "All right, this is really a pain in the ass. I've got to prepare for this."
It's like super convoluted.
Exactly.
It feels a little bit more gimmicky and less like. It feels a little more gimmicky of fleet comps if you can only have one of each ship as opposed to like some kind of structured build. But the thing though is.
But here's the other thing. When you're looking at in terms of viewership, it's the equivalent of another New England Super Bowl. You see teams that have been there every time. See Hydra again, Vidra again, Try again. Like, I mean, it's there's no underdog to root for because these guys are all.
Would that make a difference? Would that actually make a difference?
I think it does. I would. I don't know that it was an unknown group that was going into the finals than two groups that. I mean, look. I remember making a meme last year of a map of New Eden, and I put over Jove space. This is where Hydra gets their ships from.
I think if somebody like Brave had a good year and won it, I think a lot of people would be like,
"Were Brave in it?"
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would be Brave made it to the finals. Everybody would be watching that shit.
Well, I don't think though. I don't.
Actually, if Brave were in the finals, literally everybody would be watching. Like, that would be one of those draws. But you can't like magically, magic freaking wand Brave into it, right? Like,
right. Well,
they gotta win.
And I don't know if there's much of.
This is why I like the early rounds, just like I like the early rounds of like other sporting events.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Well, I was gonna say like so. Now I don't know if like this matches up with real sports, but the thing is like. You get a lot of people like Bish was saying, it's like if New England is in the Super Bowl every year, people get tired of seeing New England. But at the same time,
how do you get tired of seeing Tom Brady?
I do because
I've been tired of
the reason
10 years.
The thing with that is with Tom Brady, you can see and you can appreciate like a good player. Yeah, whereas it's kind of a lot more difficult in AT.
Jets Browns Super Bowl.
Right. But what I'm saying is like so. People say they get tired of the same old, and they get tired of like the big dynasties being there. And I'm sorry I'm going into football, but I'm trying to correlate this to the Eve with the Alliance Tour thing too. But if you had like the Browns versus like, I don't know, the Cardinals in the Super Bowl, would people be as excited for it? Probably not. Like
I think
some people would, but
I think it can't be two teams that are both underdogs. You have to have the one underdog Cinderella story team, and then you got to have the big powerhouse, and you set that narrative up, and people like that. Like a couple years ago when last year when the Astros were in the World Series. I mean, they never won before, so you want them to win. And that's kind of how it is. But I mean, with Hydra and Vidra, it's all right. Well, one.
But
oh my God! Stop! Because it totally went under the radar there. Not if you don't like football.
Well, hold on.
I didn't say it like that.
What I was getting at. Sorry, man.
You're back to football, and he was talking Astros. Shows how California you are.
right, Matterhall.
Oh wait, that wasn't Drayden. That was Matterhall. God damn it. We had to let the soccer fan in here where we're talking about American sports.
Jesus.
Now that's something I can get behind.
Now we owe a shot because of Matterhall's like blatant misunderstanding about American sports.
Arenda says baseball, and here's something very interesting. I thought this was interesting that baseball was like America's sport basically for the whole 20th century.
It is still the same.
Okay, sure.
Don't
sure. Okay, so you have that tradition because the Industrial Revolution was way back around that time when it was getting popularized. People wanted the reaction to the Industrial Revolution, the confusion of it, was to have something they knew that was wind and grass and wood and those kinds of objects. And then later you get to the digital age where everything's becoming digital and is confusing. So the reaction to that is to go back to the industrial age, which means NASCAR became really popular with metal and pistons and stuff like that.
I think NASCAR is only popular in certain areas. I can't stand NASCAR.
You live in Idaho, Drayden. They don't have an uphill downhill course up there.
It was the Industrial Revolution for baseball, but the
there is a NASCAR track out.
We actually had free time to do things other than work 16-hour days for 7 days a week. So we could go out and have a good time and play baseball and relax and enjoy something.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't have NASCAR.
NASCAR
There's a racetrack up here,
but NASCAR lost me with the tampon car. I was just like, what is this? Like, seriously, when there was a car out there that was like, doing like the Tampax car, I'm like,
hey, it's a product, man. Why
I love you, Dale, but I gotta go.
Anyway, so back to the thing, the correlation I was trying to make is like, so that's with real sports is that everyone says they want like the underdogs and stuff to get in there, but if you look at the ratings are always higher when the big dynasty powerhouse teams are always in it, and they go down when you get these weird wonky teams that go in there. Now in gaming,
it's also because the big dynasty teams come from the bigger media markets. The Yankees are always going to pull a bigger market share because they got 7 million people in the country. They're going to continue to be Yankees fans because they're all a bunch of bandwagon.
That is something that's different about the Alliance tournament, right? Not every like really high caliber team comes from like a big media market. Like otherwise, Goons would have like a super supremacist team, right?
And the audience goes down. Like that's what I. Go ahead, Drayden. You're onto it.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm cutting you off. So you go.
No, you're onto it. You're onto it.
Okay. Well, so what I was saying is like, I don't know if that correlates to the Alliance tournament and the fact that gaming, because when you have an underdog that's going to possibly beat up on the big guy, like, Big Daddy PL or something like that, everyone's going to be like, holy shit, are they going to beat PL? So I think that would actually have a bigger draw, which would be opposite to real world sports. But I don't know if it would like correlate to constant higher numbers in the Alliance tournament.
Well, I think it also matters when you've got alliances that have a lot of members in it versus alliances that have fewer members. I mean, look, if Goons made it to the finals, the ratings would be off the charts because they'd all be watching.
Exactly, and Brave too. And Guppy Shark ADL says that's a very good point. And I agree with him that the AT powerhouses are also in the tournament. Like the tournament draws a lot of that audience.
The betting also hurt. The lack of betting also hurt.
There was a little bit of betting in terms of
when the whole thing went down. Like it was kind of like if you don't like if the viewers. What you want are like the viewers who have skin in the game because maybe their alliance is still there, right? But you also want viewers who have skin in the game because, like, I don't know, they feel something, and that may be a bet, right? It may not just be entertainment. And when they pulled that aspect out, there was also a decline in viewership that was related to that.
Well, Goody DuPont makes a good point when he says the AT is not really Eve, so most Eve.
No, it's not.
It's
but
not.
What is Eve?
It's the equivalent.
What is Eve? Do you want the Alliance tournament to be like 4,000 on 4,000? Do you want it to be like Titans on Titans? Do you want it?
It's the difference.
There's
between,
nothing about anything
a gladiator
the same
fight
as the other.
and a set piece battle. So I mean, yeah, obviously it's different, but it's cool to see.
Yeah, it should be in tie-dye. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's definitely a disconnect between the champions in the arena and their affiliations. Like there's some kind of a disconnect there. Like the people who would watch this thing, if there is a market for that, aren't watching it because they don't feel like they're connected to their champions. So maybe the low, I don't know. I think there's something there, that connection of like, why should I care? The fact that people can actually say that is a bad sign.
I mean,
think the other thing I mean, look, like baseball. I mean, one of the things that everybody loves about baseball is if you played it, you look down there, you see the guys playing, you're like, I could do that. I've done that before. Mm-hmm. I've been in the outfield. I've hit balls like that. Let me out there. I could do that. Even though obviously that's bullshit because you're not going to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. But the idea in your head is that you could do that. I watch the AT teams. I'm like, there is no fucking way I could ever do that. I'm just not fast enough in small game like that to be able to do it. I think that's kind of a disconnect between them and the audience.
It's also it didn't look very good, I got to say. And I'm not talking about the coverage. Coverage was excellent. I just think the camera work when you looked at the game. I know everybody thinks the graphics look great.
You're looking at the cameras.
Well, the graphics,
the bars.
Well, the graphics look okay. Yeah, most of the time I'm looking at the bars.
The Alliance is nothing more than the bars going up or down.
Well,
you've got control bars and ECM bars that are good, like you hope are going up for your team, and then you've got like shield and armor and hull that are going down.
That's part of the problem. That's part of the problem with EVE in general is the idea that this is spreadsheets online because you don't have to look at what's actually happening.
Yeah.
The graphics, what's going on in the
submarine, and it's like
that being
right, exactly. It's like you're playing in a submarine. You don't need a window to be able to see what's happening outside.
Yeah. Well, that being said, the camera work that even you guys were doing was actually pretty good because they were doing a lot more focusing on the ship that was in question. You know, the one we're talking about, the one that's about to go down, or the one that's they would actually zoom in and focus on that ship, which is a lot better than CCP did that stuff too, but not as like diligently. So
very true.
See when they die because it zooms off into space.
If you
I don't want to throw CCP under the bus. I'm not saying their coverage was bad or they didn't get on the ship or anything like that.
Just saying it's cleaner with the EVE. Like they do it a lot cleaner.
I'll be honest, this is maybe just me, but I'd rather have the players do the stuff. I love Antiquarian. I love the stuff that they did on the show. I love the fact that he was wearing his Orioles hat. But I kind of like it better with, Elise and the rest of these guys doing it.
Yeah, but a lot of them were actually cast members that were brought to Iceland for the coverage and things like that before. Like it's not, this is not Elise's first time at the rodeo. It's not, Apophnes and things like. So they've been there before. This is the first time that it has been completely handled as far as the entire production, like even the back end people. The only people that are CCP related
are refereeing stuff and stuff like that.
The only people that are CCP related are a couple of guest commentators and things like that. I'll call them guest commentators at this point because they're not part of the Plus 10 group, as well as the line judges.
Well, and so real quick, Guppy Shark in chat is saying if you play this game, you should be able to figure out what's going on in the match. That's definitely true. And I think everyone that does play the game, for the most part, especially anyone that does like any PvP, kind of knows what's going on when they can look at the bar and see what type of they're getting damped, they're getting tracking destroyed. What's going on. But we're talking
if there's a whole bunch of damps and like sensors, and like webs and points and shit, like on a freaking shit, like I'm sitting there going, oh man, that shit's getting shit on.
Well, right, but it's more than that because what we're going at here is not like. But the people that play this game know what's going on. It's more of we're talking about it being a popular esport, and the reason why it isn't able to do that is because to be a popular esport, you need to be very visibly apparent to people that don't know about your game, that don't know what the hell is going on. When you log into, if you go to watch a Counter-Strike tournament, you don't have to know much about Counter-Strike to know
he's shooting that guy.
That guy shot him. He died.
Exactly.
You don't have to know the game, and you can just look at it and know what's going on. EVE is not that way. If you play the game, you know what's going on. If you don't, look at how much times in chat people pop in like, what's happening here? What are the boxes? And it's like that's literally the mindset of everyone that comes in to watch an EVE
maybe
tournament
the Alliance tournament
that doesn't play
should like the Alliance tournament format. Maybe that should be the format for how you fight over a Keepstar.
Send out your champions.
I just genuinely think that
if they do.
Hey, that's how the Amar Kingdom was, or the Amar Empire was decided.
Hey, at least
it's true.
Works.
One we run at the sun, and whoever wins, we blow up the Keepstar, or they don't.
Well, it's one more. You have to give him credit because it's one more problem to solve inside of EVE Online, where there's many different games, not just one game. That's why we can't agree on what EVE is. And when people say like that's not EVE, think that's ridiculous. There's many different games inside of EVE Online. This is one of them. It's problem solving with your fits. It's strategy problem solving with what you ban. Now we're talking about doctrines, not just fittings. Those are problem solvings, and these guys are really good at it. They do it at a very high level. So if people who are interested in it will naturally be interested in watch how it's done at a very high level. It's just that there's also 20, 30 other games that are inside of EVE Online that don't have this aspect to it. So it needs to cross appeal, not just seeing performance. And I think you can cross appeal by wrapping it in some kind of, in some kind of, what do you call it?
Cellophane?
Not cellophane. Wrapping it with some. I was going to say majesty. That's the wrong word, but it makes the impression, right? Like
but
some
Matt,
kind
you realize if this really was EVE, halfway through the match, NC Dot would drop supers on the thing and just blow everybody up.
Who wants a 24-hour long Alliance tournament that ends in tie-dye when downtime
exactly
happens?
Right. I mean,
no, but what I'm saying is you wrap it. You wrap it in something that connects to more of the games. And I'm not saying like the gameplay, I'm talking about
maybe
wrapping
you need other tournaments
into allegiances.
Maybe you have the Alliance tournament, and then you have the special Alliance tournament.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about
that can be Rorquals who can mine the fastest.
Maybe it could be.
Well, then it becomes a decathlon.
The same thing, but with
it's like a decathlon or something. But no, I'm talking about you attach it to the empires in a more significant way. Maybe you make the winnings or something affect something in the game. But if you do that, then maybe there's another hook that you can get a different crowd in.
Are you saying that there's not enough emotional connection between the for the teams to the audience kind of thing? Are you saying that you need some kind of like some origin story kind of like intro videos for various different teams and stuff?
I think the more you can you need to give me a reason to, and I don't mean me personally, but you need to give a person who's not into figuring out the high pitched doctrines and fitting stuff, and you need to give me a reason to care about it. I'm the common man that really just kind of goes about my business and that kind of stuff. What could it be? That's what needs to be solved, I think.
The Market Traders Tournament.
Talk about that. Talk about
these Space Tournament.
These talk about
we can have all
ships.
these things.
Well, this was kind of
people put them together.
Well, what did they used to? I mean, what they used to do is they used to really put a lot of devs on the stage with them, right? They'd have a little show in between matches, and you really tuned in for that as much as the matches. The matches were fun, but you'd go back to seeing a new dev talk about a new thing. And this is where they made a lot of announcements, But now you have Vegas to make announcements. Now you've got Down Under to make announcements. Now you've got Amsterdam to make announcements.
I would say though that
baby. It's like the Super Bowl.
It's true. I would say though that
and the commercials were part of it.
I would say though that dude, seriously, I would say though that CCP did actually do a sort of semi reveal of what is it, Project Nova coming out the end of this year potentially. So
we're talking about EVE announcements.
Yeah, I know, but it's sort of semi EVE announcements.
Better commercials this year. I don't remember any of the commercials this year.
The Dur one was pretty good.
No, the Pen is Out one is pretty good as well. The Dur one is definitely fucking great.
His whatever.com thing like a million times, I still can't remember what it is. Something $1,000,000empire.com or something.
Obviously, he didn't repeat it enough.
I only watched it like a million times, but
it's it's in the style of their the previous ones that they've done, but it was basically Dur doing his usual kind of like intro to who he is, and then he goes, "Oh, I'm streaming," and then he just uses it to sort of to just basically promote his streaming like everywhere, and it's just fucking great.
$multi-dollarmediaempire.com.
$multi-dollarmediaempire.com. Twitch TV.
That was a great one. I really enjoyed that one. There was some other good ones too, but
there's the one that McLeod made. That was
yeah. Well, I made that in less than a day. That you have to kind of give me,
which was beautiful because it totally encapsulated the funny side of Talking in Stations, which is that Matterall cannot pronounce names of alliances, corporations, players, like
devs. Shit.
That is fact.
Worst kept secret. I am a terrible show host. So I don't know how Talking Stations had success.
You hold them together as long as you're not having to pronounce their official names. Or
must be the friends I keep.
Speaking of friends and keep, why don't we segue?
Why don't we?
What a transition
into keep stars that have friends that only negotiate hardcore on them. Yeah.
You know what?
So the other night, a few of us are sitting in Talking in Stations Discord, just kind of shooting the shit. We're talking about all kinds of stuff that we talk about in Talking in Stations Discord, and all of a sudden, Matterall just kind of like pipes in because he hasn't used push to talk or whatever. So we just kind of hear it. He goes, "I think somebody's shooting my keep star." And like Brisk was there, and I was there, and McLeod, were you there at the time?
Yeah. I flew an alt. I flew an alt there.
There were actually, but there were actually several of us who were in the channel at the time before everybody else started to jump in, and I'm like, well, hold on a second. I think I've gotten all up there because I used Onenin from back in the day as as a system, a low sec system into high sec and whatnot. And so I'm like fishing around for which all I fucking got up there, and like Matterall's like logging in from work, and Brisk is like, wait a minute, let me get the fuck over there. So
I hopped in a scepter
he's
and
getting
jumped
in a
the
scepter
22
and
jumps
he's racing over. And sure enough, I log in, I fly over, from the station across the way, and yeah, there's 16 supers there, Titans and supers that are shooting the shit out of the Matterall Memorial Sanctuary Keepstar and whatnot.
Matterall Broadcasting Network.
Yeah, the Matterall Broadcasting Network, and that's where shit started to go down. Matterall went out, started looking at YouTube. How do I fire a fucking Keepstar?
Yeah, where's the button?
How do I lock people out of this thing who aren't supposed to be because the initiative has docking rights because Brisk just docked.
Brisk was just like, oh,
sale there.
Yeah.
I almost bought a hell while I was sitting there.
Yeah. Access list.
Imagine if you docked up, bought a hell, undocked, and started shooting it with the rest of the
That would have been hilarious. I did get one shot off with my interceptor. I was waiting for them to attack me, but nobody attacked me.
I warp over, and I immediately see the first name that there were two names that actually hit me right away: Merkel Chen and Odell. Merkel Chen's out there in an Aeon, and Odell's out there. I think he was in a Super and a Titan in two different characters.
Of course he was.
And there were more Titans than there were Supers, but Merkel Chen was definitely in an Aeon. And I remember saying in local with my alt, so if any of you are out there listening right now and you remember somebody saying this, it was I'm a friend of Matterall's who's a friend of the Matanis, and we understand that you need to cease and desist at this time.
I have to give credit to Matterall though, you did actually make one of those avatars bug out early.
He got it into half armor. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it's fucking good, man.
Yeah, I blasted him, but it was kind of funny. The guy I aimed at, I blasted and knocked him into not too far into armor. But the guy next to him, wow, that guy went pretty deep into armor. I was like, this tool is really weird. But yeah,
this whole Keepstar thing is kind of weird.
I don't know if I like this thing.
Well, and then of course the Imperium subcap fleet that was also called, I guess, and it was came over at that point, and they started adding a little bit of damage. I mean, they weren't the big thing. I mean, it was this, what I will call from the Imperium side, a handful of Titans. Ended up getting this down. I know that you were at the time. We're trying to call for assistance, and say, hey, can anybody?
I was not calling for assistance.
You weren't calling for NC to drop on this small cadre of Titans.
No,
they were forming. They were trying to form. It just was too fast.
Yeah. They were forming. It was kind of funny to jump in comms. It was one of the lesser FCs and a bunch of guys, and they just sounded like they're trying to get their pants on in the dark. We sat there
and said to you, Matterall, you should probably get over in your comms right now and try and get some help. And literally 2 minutes later, Lady Scarlet, I think, showed up in Talking in Station chat. She's like, Matterall, you need to get in comms. And Brisk and I are just laughing our asses off. It's like, is this really fucking happening? We're sitting here just having this conversation right now.
Oh, yeah. Hey, somebody's shooting my Keepstar.
Yeah, it's not something that happens every day, but Actually, it was totally expected. It was not actually a surprise when I heard, but I wasn't sure until I got in there, and then when I was in there, I just got busy trying to defend it as best I could.
Oh damn! Yeah, I am being shot.
I am being shot. Gotta shoot this thing. But
I'm at 33% shield. I don't have a lot of time left here.
And it's funny because we all know Matterall has a Keepstar, but I didn't know the backstory on all this stuff until this went down, and I started doing research for that article that I wrote. And for the record, I don't normally write 3,000-word essays on random Keepstars getting blown up. Somebody in the TIS Discord said, you should write this like a New Yorker article. I said, okay, I can do that. So that was my challenge. That was fun.
It was. I think you portrayed me as too influential.
I had to play
person,
it up. But I had to play it up.
Yeah, I didn't read it. Otherwise, I would have said, "Yeah, this can't be published on TIS. It's too it glorifies me too much." But
you say you're not too. Well, you say you're not influential, but I think the way that you resolved this kind of says otherwise, really.
As a one-trick pony. But back to the combat. It was I did manage to get the Doomsday off twice. But you
sent a couple bombs out. Did you figure out how to send a couple bombs?
You sent a bunch of bombs.
Yeah, I was bombing like crazy. And these Keepstars are pretty vicious when they fight back, but there is definitely a strategy you can use, and that's what they use.
A line away?
No, they stayed out of range with their subcaps, and then their
high
EHP. And then they only used Titans. They didn't have any dreads, and they didn't have any force auxiliaries either. There was nothing to pick off. I guess I could have zapped some damnation
or something.
It would have been interesting because I did not have at that time. I did not have my jabber up at the time, right? So I did not see any pings for any of this stuff or anything like that, right? I did bring up jabber after that, and I was sitting there. One of the things I did say to you was, oh man, it's like, you totally should try and get some help. It's only a small group, and then I sat there and thought to myself, but isn't there something else bigger is there not a shadow out there waiting for a response to this, kind of a thing? And it didn't matter at that point because it was so far down in shield and things. But I really do want, to this day, I don't know whether or not there was kind of like this thing waiting for a response that was then going to pounce on that. And then, of course, we got psyched up for the fact that this happened on what day?
This was Sunday night.
This was Sunday night, so we were expecting a Monday night because it was 24 plus a few hours or whatever.
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday night, right? We were originally saying Wednesday at first. A Tuesday night reinforcement cycle for the armor timer. And then we're sitting there going, okay, we're trying to calculate when the next one would be and things like that to figure out whether or not it was literally going to be in the middle of talking in stations.
Which would have been hilarious.
Which would have totally been hilarious. Matterall can't be here right now because he's in the gunner's seat.
We would have forced him through peer pressure to broadcast the show live while he's gunning the Keepstar. That would have been great.
Well, we were definitely going to do that for the armor timer. I was already setting it up on INN. I was like, don't worry, Talking in Stations has got this. Matterall's going to be broadcasting live from the gunner's seat because you know what? It has to be Matterall broadcasting for his own Keepstar. He's done it for other people's.
Yeah, that would have been pretty funny. I think the point of view would have been really interesting, and
you ruined it.
Yeah.
And then
Matterall, you should have shot Carneros with your Doomsday. That's what you should have shot. That would have been fun.
I didn't see who was on field. I just knew it was Merkel Chen Fleet, so I was looking for him, but I didn't see him in the Titans because I figured he would be in a Titan. So then I just lined up. Really, they were all the same too. There was no. I think there was 2 Erebuses. I didn't see those. Well, anyway, the point is...
Arenda said if you were broadcasting from the gunner's seat, you should have gotten an old helmet and goggles and worn those for the broadcast.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been funny.
Awesome. I would have totally done that. That would be fucking funny. Yeah, but,
But, and we said it right from the jump. It's like you need to call Mittens. Like he's your only hope. I'm you were literally Princess Leia standing in front of R2 fucking D2.
Oh yeah.
But even then, look,
I was pleading for Alderaan.
This was going to die. I honestly cannot believe, Matt Earl, and I got to give you props for this. And I did in the follow-up article. The fact that you were able to get them to at least to agree to some kind of terms that did not involve blowing this up. That Keepstar was dirty, filthy casino. It was Lenny Kravitz's casino money from the casino war that funded that thing, and it's not going to die.
It's like saying that today's Taj Mahal is still Trump's Taj Mahal. It's owned by some other dude.
I mean, this would be like the Soviets not knocking down the Reichstag after the war. I mean, come on.
It's like Dirk said, I'm going to light your house on fire because somebody was murdered in it like 10 years ago.
Yeah. You've gone through the legal process of acquiring this structure, and because, I don't know, somebody got murdered there like 10 years ago. You're going to come in and burn the house down around a bunch of other people.
Yeah, didn't make sense. But
that being said, there are different sides of this whole sanctuary thing and whatnot, and whether anything that cannot defend itself should ever live, and whether or not there should be retribution for. I think that's pretty much narrative. I'm going to be honest. I think the fact of what you were trying to do with this particular Keepstar after coming into possession of it after the fact, no longer made it part of the old NetC kind of fucking network and all that bullshit. That being said, okay. You still owned a Keepstar in space that could be attacked and did not have defense forces. So take the narrative part of it out. You can't have a name shield any more than you can have a charity shield or any other form of shield that is not literally a spaceships and space, shield.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I've learned over the last year a pretty hard lesson of, not that hard, but pretty hard, that it really only matters who you can get into a fleet to fight for a cause. That's actual power. Everything else is not really power. But the thing about, I wondered if Cribbo was still.
What are you doing a shot to? We're going to call a shot while we're in the middle of talking about Matterall's Keepstar. Yeah. We have to do a shot to Matterall's. Here's to the week Matterall didn't see coming.
Yeah.
God bless you, Matterall.
God bless every one of you. If Cribbo was still in charge of it, if he was still holding it, would it have been any different? And I don't think.
No, it wouldn't have been any fucking different.
Yeah,
Matterall. Look,
I think it might actually be
narrative and not based on the predisposition of the forces that were in the area at the time. No, it would not have.
Matterall, I love you. You're one of my favorite people in Eve. It is an honor to be able to call you a friend. I would have blown your shit up in 5 seconds.
Dude, the other night I was already sitting there going, you know what? I wasn't there for X-47. I'm sadly going to be there for Matterall's.
We were prepped.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to him on comms at the same time and be like,
oh my God, who'd I yell at that day? Because somebody right afterwards was like, this is going to be so much fun. We're going to destroy your Keepstar. And I was like, shut the hell up.
Was that Flood, maybe?
Low-spec Keepstar fights are a different animal. Low-spec Keepstar fights are a different animal, right? Bubbles are not involved.
Oh, totally.
There's a whole bunch of different equations that are involved with that. As opposed to just ram as many Titans down the throat of an NC or PL Keepstar or whatever, that you can, right? These are different kind of beasts. You can actually bring some stuff to bear out there that you wouldn't be able to in nullsec, and on the other hand, you don't have to contend with bubbles and all that kind of shit.
But now you can Doomsday.
Right? Keepstar fight. I would
you can Doomsday
just to see what it's like.
I think there was a time you could not Doomsday in.
That's right.
Low-sec.
Yeah. That was one of the reasons why Asaki ended up how it did because Boat forgot.
Asakai,
right?
Yeah. Boat basically forgot about the fact that you couldn't Doomsday and Asakai, and that was one of the reasons why when he brought his Titan in, he was like, "Oh fuck."
Okay. So I thought the story with that one was that he did the whole cliched click jump.
Well, he did, but then he realized he did, but then he brought a whole bunch of other Titans in to sort of help with his extraction as well.
Which were nothing but dreadnoughts.
Yeah,
pretty
much.
100
billion dreadnoughts.
So he got out, and the other guys were in. So he's like, "Well, I can't be safe, and they're dying in there." So he went back in, and that's why he lost.
Oh, he went.
He went back in. He was out, and then he went back in because he was like, "I'm not just going to sit here."
Look, say what you guys want about Boat, but he's got big brass balls. I could.
Actually, I don't think it had anything to do with big brass balls. I think it had to be. I can't be labeled a coward.
I think he knew that he would.
No killer flea him, right?
They jumped in to save him. So when he got out, that was their purpose. That was their raison d'etre, or whatever they call it.
Yeah. You want to put that? You want to
reason for life.
But you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, and it's like so. He got out. It's not like, if it's like, Mr. President, get down, and then he's like, no, Secret Service guy. He pushes him.
I have to say,
he jumped the fuck out and then sat there and went, oh, I got to go back, don't I?
A coward's mother does not weep.
Raison d'etre. Yeah, I don't know how to actually say it. It's French, and I'm terrible at French, but yeah. Thanks, Cap. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's
the raisin.
The reason to live, basically, that's what that means.
The raison d'etre.
Raison d'etre.
It was really funny that night, wasn't it, Brisk? It was like, well, at the same time we were having sympathy for Matterall and stuff like that. It's like
it was hilarious.
We were sort of fucking giggling at the time, going, how's this going to go down? Is this for real? Is this just like a stunt that's being played? Like, what's actually happening here? But Matterall, I don't know if you want to talk about it now on Talking in Stations. Like, number one, both how did you come by this Keepstar, but also kind of like, a bit of the negotiations that took place. Because I'm going to be honest. I think you kind of took it in the ass a bit on the negotiations, just from the standpoint of this thing was definitely going to fucking die. Okay, but I feel as though you've kind of like given up your balls, and it's like still potentially going to die because unanchoring a Keepstar as part of the negotiation in LowSec, that close, Lone Trek, the most populated place in the most populated area of HiSec, is going to make this extremely difficult to be able to extract. So like, there's almost a part of me that says, man, you kind of need to nut up and go, let the bitch die. Bitch has got it.
In retrospect, it might have been the best idea, yeah, because...
Well, I mean, that's what Lady Scarlet said, right? She said blow it up and
self-destruct it, which you can't do.
Just self-destruct. Can you self-destruct?
By the way, CC,
no, you can't.
Can you put a self-destruct mechanism in? Yeah, let me take it out myself.
There you go. All right, that's on my list.
On the list.
Yeah, bring it up. Now, that would make people a lot less keen on putting their stuff in Freeport. She was like, shit, I mean, am I going to everyone stores all the shit there and then it's self-destruct? Like,
Brisk, I have to say though, Brisk, if you're going to put that on the list, and you have to make sure that it is actually affected by tie-dye. Because the last thing you want is like fucking a shit ton of fight.
The destruct timer takes 2 hours.
Yeah, well, no. All the 2 minute destruct timer takes 2 minutes after like you've been spending 6 hours trying to kill it.
Exactly.
It would suck.
Yeah. I actually had a plan to, because it's, located next to HiSec, you can get a lot of people in there. So I think it was Dirk's plan. It's like, hey, call on the world to come and like watch, or to come and participate.
Come watch it die.
Come watch it die, or come watch it, come save it. It's just like open it up to the public, make it a public event, sit in the gunner's seat, and just ride it into the ground because there's nothing that can be done about it. That was one option, and it was a very good I think it was a very good option.
It is probably, if you want to actually keep it alive, okay, it is probably the only option, is you literally flood it with every concurrent user possible.
I had some really sweet moments that nobody will know about this until after later when I write about it.
I mean, delay it a really long time and make it unstable, and like work with the mechanics that CCP have with the server and like the sandbox.
I want to hear Matterall's story about what happened.
I don't want to get like banned because I was talking about like how to overload shit and whatnot. But
it's also
literally have every miner come in there and just mine.
Well, it also is a very risky strategy because I'm a public figure, let's say, right? In this game, if nothing else, there's the public figure aspect to it. And if you call upon the masses and say, come and defend this thing, it's yours, defend it, and nobody shows up, which is very likely.
Hold on. that also would have been content to speak of tonight.
That would have been funny. Right?
There you go.
Matter
like Ready Player One, where Parzival's like, "Come and defend the Oasis," and then nobody shows up.
Yeah, and then like nobody shows up, and you're the only guy with a pitchfork, and that's like, I don't know.
Wouldn't that would have told you something, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I kind of
you got one more person than Dirk would have got.
Yeah. No, I actually think more people would come to defend something that, you know. And as far as the Keep Stars,
like the defenders would have also come and shot it if it was me. But like,
yeah. Well,
but this is the thing, right? Like, and I don't want to get off into fucking mechanics and shit like that right now. But the fact of the matter is that the force that could have been brought against it, what we know from the last couple of fights, which we will also get to here in kind of like a moment, like in a like tangential way, you know, is the fact that enough Titans on field doesn't fucking matter. Shit's gonna die. It's just gonna die. This was going to die unless you worked with CCP's servers to be able to like undie it.
Yeah, what's interesting
we have gotten to be experts at killing Keep Stars in the last month.
Warfare.
It doesn't take experts to put that many Titans on the field. It doesn't take experts,
but you know, when you've got a well-oiled machine that's been doing it for this long, it would have been very fun. It would have been.
It's not experts. It's critical mass. Used to flood. A system, and the whole system would crash, and everybody be thrown out, and then it was a race to get back in. Whoever got in got position and killed everybody coming in after
First
that.
in
it was oddly enough, it was PanFam that was able to do that quite a bit.
Well, whatever. But the point is that's what you would do. And now I think what CCP has settled on is, because we've hit these massive tie-dye numbers, is that keep the server up at all costs and boot 20%, 40% if you have to, but you keep the server up. And so it's terrible for some people who keep getting, like an X47, I was booted off like 7 times. I was like, that's like running into a room full speed and the whole floor.
X47-1 or X47-2?
2.
X47-2 was a different story, though, right? Like, yeah,
that's where we got.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I found, but I got disconnected, you know, at least a dozen times between my two characters in both of those fights, and I asked CCP, hey, can you look at my, you know, logs and stuff, and we talked about it and everything, and for a lot of people, including me, it was memory. You hit over 3.4 memory and you're going to get disconnected. So 3.4 gigs. So a lot of folks just didn't know that. And as people get used to putting everything in potato mode, turning everything off, turn the sound off, turn this off, turn that off, lower your resolution, people are going to stop getting disconnected as much. And I think, but it's just a question that is a skill that the big alliances that do these fights quite often have to learn. And when we're only doing these fights once every 2 years,
yeah, but Bruce, you say that there's actually a Reddit post that someone from Goonswarm actually put up, showing you all the various different things that you can do to actually reduce, like, your own client's memory consumption to actually stop you from doing that, which is really good, really cool.
I was on the optimize it for memory. Go ahead, Drayden.
No. I was just saying, like, because I thought a lot of people's computers were completely fine to handle the client side. I thought the disconnects were that the server couldn't handle the load and were dropping people. So I don't know. Is it on the local side?
It's both sides. I mean, but Drayden, I mean, the bottom line is the client when the client hits 3.4 gig of memory being used, it gets unstable and it starts dropping people.
But
that's a factor. That's a factor of the fact that it's not 64-bit. So hopefully when we get
64-bit client coming. Now, I have to really legitimately ask ourselves, is 64-bit client going to make a difference in what it is that we do in EVE and NullSec with these big giant fights?
It's going to fix a lot of the client side disconnects that people
wait for it. Or is CCP getting a kickback in order to sell 64-bit clients to people out there who think they'll have an edge?
Well, the thing is, like, okay,
I'm just throwing it out there.
What?
It's a free game, bro.
I just assumed it was a 64-bit client because everything's a 64-bit client. So yeah, 32-bit client.
The game's 15 years old.
I know, but I figured they would have updated that point of it. But yeah,
Drayden's on 7, man. Drayden's on 7.
But that's part of the reason. Part of the reason why they had to get rid of walking-in stations and all that kind of stuff, because that was holding it back.
32-bit client.
I'm doing a shot to 32-bit.
It can't support more than 4 gigs of RAM. So that's why I was wondering. I was like, yeah, but if it's like I have 32 gigs of RAM, like 4 gigs shouldn't matter. But
that's the thing. Look,
that's the part I didn't know.
You can have a 16-core Threadripper, chip in your computer. You can have 64 gigabit, gigs of RAM. It doesn't matter because you're only using 4 of it because that's what the game is designed.
Yeah, 32-bit can't support more than 4 gigs of RAM.
What about FAT32 on my fucking disk drive?
Oh my gosh.
Doesn't matter.
What about that? What about that?
Hey,
doesn't matter, Dirk.
The fact is that fight was crap for some people that were over. I think it was over because we had like almost 5,000 people fighting, and I think it was about 20% or 40% were getting knocked off constantly. And like I said,
that's the new tie-dye measurement. 20% knocked off is 20% tie-dye.
Yeah, the server was up. The people who actually didn't get knocked off were like, hey, that was a pretty good fight. But now you have 4,000 people saying that was a pretty good fight, and you have 1,000 people saying that fight was terrible. And that might be a better way for CCP to like have publicity instead of all these players were ready to fight, and then boom, nothing happened.
And now we come full circle to what about the champion system?
What is the champion?
What if the fucking mountain comes in and says, "I'll fight for my keep star. I'll poke your eyes out."
Then exactly. Then we don't have to have these big fights. Then we don't have the sun, right?
We can have the war occur, and then the mountain walks up and goes, "I'll poke your eyes out."
Well, who's going to be the
David and Goliath?
Who's Oberon?
That's a good question.
Dot, obviously, but I mean, like
Travis Muskrat.
And I only say that from the standpoint of look.
I bet Matt Earl doesn't watch Game of Thrones.
I watched it a couple times.
Did you? So did you get the reference?
You make it sound like it was a film or something.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I put it on Twitter. Like I'm wondering, like why do they call it they call it what, Steamroller Fleet? Why are they not calling it NC Hammer?
Would Doom Chinchilla have been Oberon?
No.
No. You need someone with skill. You need someone with skill.
Oh, so
that's kind of Doom's
great. Now Doom's going to shit on me for the rest of the week.
Behind the forces.
It's all good
on Twitter.
I read the first book. I haven't read the other ones, but
dude, we're not talking about books anymore. Like,
all right.
Do you not HBO?
We're past the books.
I watched the HBO. Like
we're well past that shit, man.
I watched the
wildlings
HBO.
are like wild.
George R. Martin is the slowest writer on the face of the earth. So
this is the future, Matt Earl. We don't need writing anymore.
There's a freaking George R. Martin series coming out on Sci-Fi later this fall.
Dirk, I know you love The Expanse.
Well, he does write on a Windows 3.1 machine, so...
I have watched, so that you know, Bleezy, I have watched Game of Thrones. I've watched it like 3 times through.
Oh.
Yeah, so
you're more of an expert than all of us.
I knew all the references. Actually, the lady across the street from my house, her sister is a professor. This is an interesting name drop. Who specializes in like movie literature, I think, or something like that at one of these universities.
Movie literature, is that a new course?
She specializes in Game of Thrones like theories and stuff.
This is Los Angeles.
That's doing this. YouTube specializes in Game of Thrones theories.
But she's well, yes,
and that's true.
What she does. She lectures on that at a university, though. It's not YouTube and whatever.
Is
that an actual university course
on the West Coast?
Yeah.
How is that cool?
She's a literature professor, I think at USC. It's not just a small, like, it was impressive credentials. And that was one of her classes, was the theories or whatever behind
the
Game
YouTube
of Thrones.
theory of Game of Thrones. Yes.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of trying to bring her on.
YouTube theory of like that's a junior year course.
Thinking of bringing her on to some stream to talk about Game of Thrones. I don't know how I would figure that out, but I mean how that would work out. But because,
however, what I am going to say is this from an outside observer. Okay, from an outside observer, which I have always like meant to try and be. Y'all are fucked. If they want to spend the fucking resources, they will literally throw every Titan at killing every fucking structure in the fucking north. It will be a fucking steamroller express. It won't be an express. It'll take way too fucking long. We'll all get fucking tired of it and whatnot. But like, this is really a bad fucking moment in these things. It's not just about like, you know, how do you freaking like, you know, swarm everything down on like, you know, one star. A Keepstar will die. Enough freaking DPS, it will die. And if the other party is willing to like, you know, like throw out their sacrificial fucking Titans and whatnot, and then still beat you, like still beat you in the Titan count, this shit's fucking over. Well, I don't know what part of fucking like deep fucking the east where the Russians were and stuff like that like y'all are gonna have to freaking move to. It was like this is like not good.
It's also not as dire as all that. I don't really? Actually believe. Yeah, I don't actually believe.
Like you guys gonna pull a fucking Alamo at fucking MTAC-O or something?
Yeah,
like.
Well, I think there's some clear lessons that have been learned. There's some blindness.
I'm not even saying this from a bad fucking standpoint.
I know,
like, Dirk, you fucking like, you know, shitbag who's on the like seriously, the level of fucking weaponry that we're talking about here, it's like.
Well, the fights are now, and this is interesting. The pressure on the Keepstar fights that whole setup and the way that works is too heavy to win or to defend. Therefore, you move the fights up to the iHubs. Those are the Keepstar fights now. That's where you defend your territory through defending the structures. And I think you're going to see
FozzieSov currently at the moment.
Exactly. So the pressure is coming away from numbers to the disbursement of fighting, and maybe that is an interesting thing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we're going to see that tomorrow because we've got the iHub and CO2's DW Tech in Fade system that we tried to blow up the Keepstar before, but they were able to Sino Jam on us. So I think everybody's looking forward. I'm looking forward to that fight tomorrow. It's going to be a good fight. You know, we've been fighting out there. We've been dunking CO2 for the last week or so. So I'm looking forward to it.
Because I want to give a member of Talking in Stations, like, you know, Chit Chat channel a fucking prop here. Lieutenant Condor like threw this out there. You know, he was like, you know, are you talking about Keepstar fights tonight? I'm like, I imagine they'll come up, but I haven't been around for the last 2 fucking weeks, so you know, whatever. He's like, just a question for the panel. Will we see Keepstar fights over iHubs now more than actual Keepstar fights themselves? Sino Jammers also. I think we've seen if Titans land on grid, the fucking Keepstar is dead. And I absolutely fucking agree with him that this is where the fights have to happen. They cannot be at the point of fucking target. They cannot be at the target where nothing other than this modicum of DPS is what you're trying to defend against. Because there's no defending against that.
Yeah, you can't actually repair a timer. You just have to destroy all the DPS against it, and it's impossible to destroy that much DPS with so much instability, and especially if they have those kind of numbers. It's a losing proposition. So yeah, everything shifts lower and sooner, and I think that's the common wisdom among nullsec right now, is they're seeing that we want to keep these things that people are actually fighting over. We need to stop them at the gates, not at the keep.
And I agree with that.
So a quick question, like what forces the fight onto the iHub though?
Well, because if you have,
we don't let you into the system, therefore you have to come in and like, you know, FozzieSov the iHub.
Well, it's not only that. I mean, here's the thing: if you have an iHub in the system with the ADMs that are specifically upgraded,
like the fucking global fucking we, not like
you can put a Sino Cyril Jammer up in the system and stop any capitals from jumping in, which means they have to use the gates. If they use the gates, they're vulnerable because they're on the
bottleneck them there. Yeah,
double fuck the gates to hell and gone, and you get to pick where you get to fight, and you get to place yourself on the grid, and they're stuck wherever they jump in. So if you can put a Sino Jammer in, nobody's going to jump into that. It just doesn't happen. And that's what happened to us in DW Tech. We thought we had cleared out the entire system. We forgot about, you know, the fact that you can online a Sino Jammer on a POS that's been reinforced, because all the POSs in the system were reinforced. But if as long as the Sino Jammer's up, then that saves the system. So that's really where the fights are now, because as soon as that iHub is down, you can't put a Sino Jammer in the system, and we can jump in. The
system's open.
It makes it more difficult. Yeah. You've got to create choke points.
Yes.
And not like I want to get caught up out there in a fucking choke point or anything, but like that is how you fight away. You gotta create these kind of obstacles to things, because if all you do is let them run up on your Führer bunker, guess what? Führer bunker gonna go, and somebody's gonna go outside and shoot themselves in the head.
Yeah, I really like this.
You
I
nuke a
think
bunker long enough, it's going to blow up.
I think this war has been very interesting in many aspects, but this is one of them. The whole logic of how to fight and where to fight is changing, and you don't see that all the time. Like, these are significant things because we don't get to test it at this level all the time. So you're having to learn lessons live with 700 Titans on the field. And that is
its own issue.
Super exciting.
Its own issue that we don't get into tonight.
That's important.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you think about it this way. In the past, one of PanFam's greatest strengths was they had more players with more experience in Supers and Titans than anybody else. And this war has given Goons and the rest of the Imperium and Legacy and other groups the opportunity to get into all of these big giant fights with all of these super capital ships, all of these Titans, and blooded all of their new players that have never had I was never in a Titan battle until X74 or X47. That was my first time, and now I've done it 3 or 4 times now, so I feel confident going into those fights. That's stuff that PL and NC Dot, those guys have been doing for years. But now you've got a whole slew of pilots that are not, they've seen the elephant, they're veterans now, and they're not going to worry about, they understand what to do in these types of fights. That in and of itself is a huge force multiplier, and that was something that we didn't see.
Yeah, look at Noisy Gamer there. FozzieSov is starting to make sense, and I totally welcome that. It would be so interesting.
Stop it!
I'm just saying.
Noisy Gamer. No, hold on.
You're starting to blaspheme here now.
However, if you want to say that the blend of different systems into one giant organism, actually makes sense, maybe, perhaps. But please, let's not sit there and throw up fucking champs, high fives on the FozzieSov system now after the fact of living through FozzieSov.
No. FozzieSov may have actually solved this, but we didn't. FozzieSov may have actually solved this, but we didn't let it happen because we wanted to shoot things. Remember, they were going to make structures intosable or intosisable, and we rejected that as players. We said, no, we want to shoot things. And if you would have to have an entosis on a Keepstar, I think that we'd have a whole different scenario than we have now, because it wouldn't be about brute force. It was about how many people you could keep alive.
Gricken is asking how much of the show is left. About 38 minutes. A little bit less than 38 minutes.
Just a
good approximation.
We're at T-minus fucking 38 minutes.
T-minus
Dirk can
37
both still
minutes,
look at
42
time
seconds,
and still
roughly.
tell
I'm impressed. I thought we were going to have nothing to talk about, and we're still going strong.
Because you know what? We can take
in.
any fucking topic from Matterall's Gonna Die Keepstar all the way out into the rest of this shit. Because that's how we just banter.
I think there was a
the
night
show's
where
just nothing about banter.
I think we spent 20
it's all
minutes
about
on
banter.
Denny's one night. Literally just on Denny's.
You said never mind.
We're not getting, I'm just saying, we're not.
Even I'm not dumb enough to run down the fucking Denny's show with you right now.
Oh, I didn't know if I told you, Dirk, or if you knew this, but I almost got smoked in X47 Final Timer.
Can I tell you what?
I almost got
we
smoked.
were totally primary Matterall. I was so excited.
Brisk, you can't wait to take things away from me.
My Titan, the first Titan I ever built, got smoked in that fucking fight.
My favorite
and it got
thing
smoked
to
on the
do
fucking
is kill my
slice
friends.
side of things, because back when I took a much deserved fucking psychotic break from Eve, I handed my Titan and the pilot, mind you, I literally transferred the fucking pilot over to one of my fucking Drayden. You'll know this. The Spectre Titan fucking died.
Well, we're gonna take a shot for Spectre Titan.
Communicating to me in Skype that day, and I'm sitting there going,
I already have a shot
back,
for
right?
it,
He's
but
like, well, I'm hoping to get a hold of it.
I didn't know that.
I'm like,
Dirk, that's what you get for buying an Aerovis.
This might be 2 shots, actually. This is the downside of not having a shot glass. I can't measure
You know
right.
what?
This is
I am
fine
doing
too,
a fucking shot to the fact that guy that I trained, that Titan that I fucking built with the help of the court members of my fucking court, because it was a way bigger thing than 1 man 19 Rourke wolves.
It was
nowadays.
the whole court putting. Yeah, so it was.
Wow.
We all put in fucking effort.
Wow.
The Spectre fucking Titan died that day. I don't give a shit whose side it was
that was
fucking
the first Titan, not the first Titan I saw, but the first Titan that was in my court. And it said it
I'm raising this shot to my man Elcor, not the user behind it.
Now I gotta check and see if I can.
L space CORE for anybody out there fishing up Zeke type bullshit or whatever. It's like he died that day. That was the first Titan I ever fucking built in this game, and that was the character that I trained up. And like, you know, because of my own bad deeds and bad karma back at that time, I gave up. Well, there's a part of me that wants to choke up right now.
It was an Erebus, and we always made the joke that it had spinners. So it's like the Titan stops, but the rims keep spinning, and now the rims have stopped spinning.
The rims have stopped spinning, Capsuleer. Point your eyes forward and
I feel so bad for you, man. That's like
I hate that damn
whatever that crazy
so
ass fucking prayer is that people like think is really cool because it's video game oriented.
Damn it! I don't think I got on that kill. That sucks.
So the first Titan that you built was destroyed.
Elmo, you keep saying Dirk is drunk. Literally, not that drunk right now because I'm still holding together time.
We are
plus
not
adding
even close
into
to
the fact that
maximum
we've got 34
right
minutes left. No, because I can still do fucking math.
This is true.
Like not crazy math, like just like addition.
Not
I'm pissed
math.
that I didn't get on that kill.
Don't anybody fucking test me on math. All that being said, yeah, man, this has like been a bad fucking couple weeks for me, man.
You know what's going on? I think
that fucking Titan, the fact that bro I like lent that shit off to, like I don't even want to fucking talk about it right now. It's like I'm having like a really tough week.
I'm sorry, man.
It's like you don't want to add PTSD to this.
No, seriously, it's like, man. It's like, I gave you him
first
because
Titan
I thought you'd be an
died.
active member of the EVE community that would still use him and whatnot. But now that he's dead, can't you give him back?
Well, he did use him, and that he did what was intended.
He's like, well, I'd have to like, you know, suck some skill points at it. I'm like, call it interest, motherfucker. Nope, it wasn't getting him.
That is what you get.
It wasn't rolling in. It wasn't rolling in.
That's what you get for being a quitter.
I did.
Yeah.
I was pretty much kind of a quitter at that time, and like, you know, I'm still kind of a fucking quitter, but whatever.
Yeah, I know.
I considered giving Grish away back in like 2009.
I really don't even give a fuck about
that.
the ship. Ships are meant to fucking die. The character, on the other hand, I want fucking back. And the character's like...
I've seen disputes over characters. It's very interesting. When somebody quits, they walk away and they're like, yeah, here, take the character. And then that person
it's like, seriously,
invests
over the course
in
of the
that
last couple of years, while you were sitting on the fucking Titan pilot that I handed you, you could not have scrolled another motherfucker up. You could not have fucking rolled like did you not rat? Did you not mine? Did you not do shit? Could you not have like put 1 ounce of your own effort into the guy that might like walk into his shoes so you can give me the pilot back? Because it would have made no sense for me to give him the Titan on his fucking like, you know, Osprey pilot that he had, right?
Dirk, why don't you just skill inject somebody up and trade him?
Because I am that much of a believer in if you are a skill injecting motherfucker in this game, you are literally a fucking steroid using juicer who demands no respect whatsoever. You have to demand no respect, get no respect in this game.
Get no respect.
Literally the other.
I mean, like, there's a difference. Someone's like, "Oh man,
no,
nice
seriously,
muscles.
there's
Don't
no
you
fucking
dare
difference. You're the other."
I think Dirk has some strong feelings on this one.
I think so. There was some talk, remember, when Injectors entered the game, there was some talk about how will I distinguish the purity of my character against the doping of this other character.
Yeah, that's what
doping.
I'm like,
Doping,
this sucks.
exactly.
Doping, yeah.
And they said,
I've
well,
got a 2006 character and 120 million skill points, but how do other people have the same and they've only been around 2 years?
Yeah, but and they were thinking like you would have to like make the face look different, like really gaunt and, you know, kind of like a drug addict, so that people would know on sight that that was a dope.
No, you should have a big fucking forehead and small balls.
No
That's
hair.
exactly how it
bald.
should go down. Like this should just be part of the fucking gameplay.
Right.
All that being said, I
mean, you have
do not blame this on any of you out there who are walking around the streets of EVE fucking juicing up over fucking time. I do not blame this on users. I blame this on CCP.
Well, hey, I've got at least one fax alt that I started.
One
brand new.
Metal has not stretch marks. Men
stretch
have
marks
stretch
on
marks
his
too.
forehead.
Stretch marks on the forehead. I like that.
Maybe not on the forehead. Like most men do not have stretch marks in the forehead.
Fucking massive eggheads or something.
Do not fucking reach out their cranium
there's like crease marks and wrinkles, but that's not stretch mark. Like I don't think
I think if you're juicing up and your head's growing really fast.
Could you imagine? If
all that being we are not going down the fucking tangential category of whether or not stretch marks happen on foreheads. They don't.
Well, but what if
you're looking at it right now?
Because
if it could happen, it would have.
Like, if you imagine if you got too fat on your forehead, would it droop down and like make you go blind?
Can you get
look like a pompadour
from your forehead? No, you can't. It's like this is how the forehead works. A brain can get too big and still not mess up your fucking genes. Like that's how it works.
Well,
that being said.
Jesus.
I swear to God, I gotta go back to my notes right now. Because I swear to God, we front run a whole bunch of shit. We talked about Vegas, right? Oh no, wait, hold on.
No, yeah.
Do any of you people just like give me ends and fucking channel out there if any of you give a shit about whether or not you're gonna make your own fucking advertisement for Vegas this year? If you give me a yes, I'll throw the fucking thing out there. Also, if you're going to be a speaker out there at Vegas, they also want you to do like, submissions and shit like that. So also give me a yes. I'll throw both of these things out there because like, I don't know, like people should know.
Now I'm going to Vegas.
Okay, so
why is nobody doing a fucking player presentation about why you shouldn't go to other people's player presentations and why you should just come out and talk to other players and fucking like have a drink and just be a cool bro? Don't go listen to why wormholes open up.
Oh, I'm totally opposite of you. The party
I know you are
is
because
not...
I went to your player presentation.
You're like, what should I do?
Just losing it.
Cool with you and shit, and it was like early.
It was early in the whole thing, yeah. You didn't make
Otherwise, I was at the Cabana.
The funny thing is, like, I was so out and about Las Vegas that I only made 2 presentations. I made yours, Matterall, which was good.
See, because I thought he was your
halfway
boy.
Because I was like, who's that 9-foot tall person coming at me?
I made yours, which is I actually did like yours because yours was like a history of Eve, and you started almost like just before I came into the game, and then you started like going in, and it was kind of like a lot of insight into like oh shit, like I was a part of this stuff, but I was a frontline grunt, so I didn't know the machinations that were going on behind the scenes, all the political stuff. And you brought it up, and I was like, oh, that's why we were in that fight. Oh, okay, I get it now. But so that was cool. And then I saw some other, I don't know what other, I missed Max's presentation, which was the first. I always try to make Max Singularity's presentations because I fucking love anything science and astronomy and NASA and all that stuff, or JPL. He does JPL, but
I just paid my money to go to the Goons dinner on Thursday night, so I will see you guys there.
By the way, I linked in
what time
last
is that
year's
speech? Dinner? I have to ask.
I think it's 7:00
p.m.
Yeah.
Not a.m.
p.m. It's a dinner.
Well, it's Vegas. You never know. It's Las Vegas. It's a 24-hour cycle.
I mean, you never know when you're going to get my camera. Okay, so...
Oh, that fucking hurt.
All right, so this is something that I don't know if we want to discuss in the backroom channels, but Dirk, so Vegas.
Yeah.
Open comms. We're probably not doing a live broadcast.
We are actually doing... Hold on. As of this moment, I'm throwing it out there just to let CCP know as well.
We're doing the Cabana thing.
We are actually doing a live broadcast. It will be Thursday night during the Imperium dinner and open 4-hour open bar. Okay, so like those of you who right now are listening and are out there part of the Imperium and are going to the open bar 4-hour dinner thing or whatever.
Right,
like
Thursday.
You guys will be up the street and like won't be part of this. But however, as of right now, not saying it's not subject to cancellation, we will be doing our normal, legitimate, fucking open comms broadcast on Thursday night where I'll be pouring fucking Tito's for free.
People.
Because of people from Streamfleet, like Raiden. That being said, we're still fucking doing that as of right now, unless CCP fucking cancels that whole fucking shebang. We're gonna totally fucking do that on Thursday night.
Great.
I was just thinking personally, like,
and then
someone should fucking live blog it.
The day after that, it's going to be fucking Dirk at the fucking cabana, unless it's like opening ceremonies or closing ceremonies or like a really serious subject that they're talking about down at the fucking Eve Meta Gallery. Otherwise, why are you not out there just having drinks and talking with people and like associating with other Eve people and shit?
Real quick, Dak Elleron in chat is saying, "Are we allowed to come visit when you're having?"
Can I go to the show?
Yeah,
of course.
Basically, we want if you
we will
Vegas,
literally,
please
we will
come
literally under Las Vegas
show.
laws and whatever like is going on out there right now with hotels in the Las Vegas community, be pouring like Tito's like fucking water. That's how we fucking roll, unless they go, bitch, you're a terrorist with the Tito's bottle, and then we gotta like back off.
But yeah, so if you're at the Vegas event, we're having the open comms thing. Come down, like we have the live show there so that people can come and hang out.
Thursday night, it will be Thursday night.
It's meant to be a live
Friday night stuff, because Friday night is when we actually get into CCP regulated Eve mode and go out on the legitimate pub crawl. Or
see, this sucks though, because I want to do the Goons dinner, and then I want to go and hang out with you guys.
You can't have to go over there Goons dinner and then also come out hang out.
Why not?
You have to come early for the
because we start at 6.
Our show,
which starts at
6.
Okay,
which starts at 6 p.m.
So you show up.
I will start the show and then leave and
you
go to
start the show, hang out for half an hour, and then you go to
and then you go to the Goons thing, which is like I would also like to do that too, but I'm usually too rocked by the end of the open comm show.
Yeah, but yeah, so
I can only stumble down one flight of stairs.
Free drinks. We're gonna be having a party now. Because I wasn't sure that we were doing that or not. Because I knew that is that gonna be Streamfleet's gonna be doing that for us.
I want to. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just like pour another shot right now. Will I talk about the fact
are you coming to Vegas?
Well, I talk.
It's not decided yet.
I'll come.
Because I need a roommate.
Has Matani told you that you're coming, or you're not coming? Has he made that part of whether or not your Keepstar will live or die? Was that part of the negotiation process?
If you need a roommate, I could use a roommate. I'd love
really?
to. I'd love to.
I am doing right
price.
now a shot for Raiden Harmon at Streamfleet, okay, and the rest of the Streamfleet audience, like Miss Mucka. The rest of the Streamfleet, people that work there, like Ms. Moses. But really, it's more about the fact that, I gotta be honest, Raiden, me and fucking Raiden are gonna tear the asshole out of fucking Vegas out there. Like, honestly, I feel like I've been challenged this year. Like, Raiden's coming over, and I feel as though I have to step my game up, because, like, last year I only fucked up part of my forehead, which won't tan as easily this year. Okay.
Okay.
Like, really, it actually fucking peeled earlier. And like,
I get the feeling I'm going to be walking you guys around quite a bit.
I still have a Harry Potter scar on my forehead, so
I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to go down this year. There's a part of me that there's a part not that down. Well, I mean, that's up to you. Don't me classify it.
I mean, don't threaten me.
There's a part of me that wants to make this year's T-shirt be "Open Comms the Last Call," because I have no idea if we're gonna live through this particular Vegas but whatever. You know what? Them.
So, was a question.
By the way, while you're drinking, if you're in Iceland, 3 p.m. tomorrow, watch the AT finals at this place called
Goonie.
Bridgend.
I'll be in Iceland in 2 weeks, not tomorrow.
Or Brugas. I'm not the right guy to pronounce things, but look it there. It's been pasted twice. If you're in Iceland, go watch the Alliance tournament. 3 o'clock.
We have 21 minutes left of the show, and I do want to throw this out there. That at the end of the last Talking in Stations, I talked about the fact that we were going to have the new executive producer, CCP Manbjorn, on in either this coming Sunday or the Sunday after. It's actually going, for those of you out there who right now are either Canadians or Americans, so therefore you'll get my reference. It's the weekend after Labor Day weekend in the U.S., which I can't do fucking math right now. There you go.
I think it's the 9th, isn't it?
I believe it is the 9th.
Yeah, I think Labor Day is the
I
4th.
have been guaranteed by CCP that CCP Manbjorn and CCP Berger. CCP Berger is the new head of like the art department or whatever, but like Manbjorn
Creative
is the
director.
new executive. What?
Creative director.
So he's not just art anymore. He's like total creative.
If I recall correctly, it's creative director.
All that being said, CCP Manbjorn, who has replaced CCP Seagull that weekend on Talking Head Stations, a couple days after this show will eventually fucking happen on a Friday night, and I'll like sober up and shit like that. We're going to have a conversation with the Manbjorn and the Berger.
And I would love to be a part of that because that'll be after the summit. And
I know you would because you keep trying to interject yourselves into like, you know, the things. But you're a CSM member. You will be able to speak to him anytime you want to.
We are. The summit is the 1st of September through the 8th of September. So
we're about
Sunday I am back will be when you guys
on
are
INN Brisk Rubal.
Damn.
Okay.
What?
Otherwise, Doom Chinchilla is going to call us unneutral.
You're biased, Dirk. You're totally biased.
It's ridiculous, but you know what? He'll say INN is the next NER.
And I have to wonder actually, Brisk, like how many security tricks are you going to have to go through to both get to Iceland and when you're coming back from Iceland? Because I know Iceland can be, you know, a bit of a hot spot.
It's a little out of the way.
I'm TSA pre. I'm good to go.
Okay.
So what's the deal?
Actually work in Iceland, bro.
What is the deal?
They don't give a shit about what America says. Like, can get you through a metal detector.
What is didn't go 18 months. Thanks, man. Thanks, Lee.
What is the deal with Doom Chinchilla? I guess making fun of NER. Is there something there?
It's Doom being Doom. That's all it is.
Hold on.
I think he was upset. Apparently,
are we talking about making fun of NER? Or are we talking about his
Doom was apparently Doom basically, you know, in his quest to hit 3,000 followers on Twitter has been basically crapping on anybody.
I feel like he's diminished.
He's a joke about hitting 3,000 followers was a joke.
Well, he's creating drama just to sort of like, you know, just to pad his people out.
Drama creates
people thought he's been going overboard with it.
It's not drama,
though, he has been going
this is literally the history of Eve Media over time, is the fact of people out there during their time of pain will cry out about the fact that the media is biased against them. That's one of the fucking tactics. And literally one of what, like, you know, I don't know, 42.8% of you will believe, depending on, like, you know how it's thrown against you.
But look, I mean,
I swear this looks like Lulu Lynette's dog. What I
told Doom was, I'm like, you're Trump complaining about fake news. I mean, the reality is, anytime you don't like the stories that are coming out about it from a news group, you claim that they're biased. That's a standard tactic. It's a political tactic. It's a tactic in Eve. It's a tactic everywhere. That's what you do.
Who can now Wikipedia to me like the different types of bias that exist? Like individual bias, fucking institutional bias, all this kind of shit, right? Because this whole thing happened during the Casino War, World War B. Like,
correct,
the fucking media entities were going at each other back then, okay? Like, in a way bigger way than what they are, you know, right now. Like, crossing zebras was literally a thing back then. Dead now.
But Dirk, here's the thing. Look, and I ran, and from my background.
Is it not dead now? Like literally, all of their fucking writers.
They haven't done a lot of stuff.
Fucking podcasters.
I ran the most read conservative website in Virginia for a number of years, but I did that. That was my thing. I was like the blogger guy for a while. The fact is, anybody who doesn't like you, who disagrees with what you're saying, if you have an editorial slant on any particular issue, the first thing they're going to say is, you guys are biased. The second thing they say is, oh, you're being paid for your coverage. People are buying stories. They're paying for stuff. And then that's all happened in Eve too. That's what as EN24. Oh, you're getting paid for your coverage. That's what happens. So when Doom complains about NER, it's the same thing. You don't like the stories coming out because, hey, you know what? There's been a lot of bad news, and PanFam, at least CO2 and the rest of these guys have taken in the ass up in the north quite a bit the last 2 weeks. You don't like the stories. Okay, it's fine. But the fact is, the war is the war, and people are reporting on the war, and hey, one side is doing better than the other. it's not bias. It's fact. It's how, I mean, reality has a bias sometimes. So I understand what his complaint, but the fact is, if folks are not writing the stories, and he had one issue where a test apparently, somebody who wrote an article about a test fight didn't mention the fact that they got blanked by BL or Black Legion. Okay, fucks up. People fuck up. They make mistakes. That's on the editors. You got to verify that. You got to say, hey, this guy burned me because he put a story up that was biased. That's fine. But the fact is, if you want a news site that is trying to be unbiased, it's trying not to be propaganda, that's NER. They're trying to do that. So I hate
but
the
it's
fact
inherent.
That you're trying to attack
like bias isn't something you try to avoid. It's something that you just kind of live with.
That wrong. Bias is something you try to avoid. It is something that is inherent to the people that come to you.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, guys,
as an administration try to avoid.
Oh my God. The thing is, the way I kind of see it is like bias is inherent in everything, right? The one thing which you have to kind of like look out for is when bias is being covered up. When bias is being covered up as, you know, like when someone's saying like, oh, I'm not biased, then they're clearly bullshitting because everyone's biased in a certain way, shape or form. Like if you're covering up your bias, then that is a fucking warning sign that should be like blinking in your fucking head. Like
if you're a human being and have opinions on anything, you have a bias.
Put out a product that is not slanted, that is not propaganda, that is trying to provide people facts or at least information as to what's going on. That's one thing. That's what they're trying to do. Do they always do it? No. Everybody's like Matt, you know, McLeod's perfectly correct. Everybody's got a bias. Everybody's going to have a background. They're going to come from one group. They're going to be in the fight on one side or the other. They're going to have better information. It's just how it is. But the fact is, these guys are at least trying to provide both sides, and I think
we've all tried.
And I am fine with them. I'm fine with them providing both sides. The thing that I don't want to see is someone saying, you know, oh, I am completely unbiased, because that's bullshit. Like it's completely fine to me and completely fine to probably a lot of other people. Like to say, oh, this is how I saw the fight. Oh, by the way, I'm part of PanFam, or I'm part of Imperium, or, you know, that kind of thing. You can apply a kind of like, oh, right, okay, they have a bit of bias, you know, their view is slanted in a particular way, and that's completely cool.
But the fact is, the only way you're going to get good information from a lot of these fights is talking to either you have been there yourself, which is why when I write stuff, it's generally about stuff that I was physically present for, because then I have the best information, and I can explain what.
I don't know.
You look at a battle report, you don't know what, you know.
I've been on many fleets where I didn't know what was going on. Or maybe that's just
same.
Well, I mean, it depends. Sometimes I like, you know, the Doom and the rest of these guys love to give me a hard time because I'm not an FC, but I like to spend time in the FC channel, so I figure out exactly what's happening. So when I write my after action reports, it's based on what I've heard.
But the terrible thing about the fact that you're not an FC, and look, those of us who have been doing this fucking long enough in the fucking Eve media know that, number one, the doers out there, the people that are actually making shit happening in space, they're not coming on fucking talking about it. They just aren't. Okay, you are like kind of like in the middle ground now. You're literally like a politician. You are you're not literally. Yes, you are. Am I?
No, he is.
Yes, I am a
like
politician.
You're literally a fucking
Commander
politician.
A's for 10
You're
months,
somewhere in the middle of people who are doers and some people who are like, can you please tell me what's happening out here? Okay, and then you come up on fucking Eve Capitol Hill and tell people this is what's fucking happening. But there are other people out there like Doom who are literally in the middle of that shit and talking about it from a perspective of somebody who will talk about it.
But they're also the types of people that have an invested interest in making sure that their version of events gets out.
Do you not? Do you not, as a politician, even in Eve, not carry an initiative bias to what it is you say? Because you don't want to fuck yourself with your own people, right?
Here's what I do. I am 100%. I do my 100% best, and this is something that I've had to deal with on the CSM, because people assume, okay, Brisc is initiative, Brisc is part of the Imperium, Brisc is going to be aligned with those guys. And for the fact of the matter is, at least when I am in my day job, when I'm doing my job, when I'm doing my CSM gig, I am 100% neutral. I want to represent everybody. Now, yes, I'm part of this group. I affiliate with them. I talk the same way that they talk. You know, if you ask me, hey, who won the casino war? I say it's still going on. That's the type of stuff that's my inherent bias. I fully admit that, but I'm going to do what's in the best interest of the game because that's what I was elected to do. And I think that's the difference. Sometimes not everybody does.
You've been around long enough to remember the casino war.
Correct. Yes.
Do you remember the level of propaganda that was coming from the Imperium side at that time compared to the other side?
Absolutely.
Can you measure that against the level of propaganda that's coming from the Imperium side to the other side now?
I think the fact of the matter is.
And do you recognize why there's more Imperium voices out there now?
Yes, of course. I mean,
the amount of propaganda that was around World War B/Casino War was insane.
Well,
what's your point? It's the thing that made me really hate fucking propaganda.
It really fucking made me really hate propaganda as well.
But the point is that there are people who are willing to say, yes, I am on this side. But when I am writing something, I'm going to present something that is neutral, that's fair to both sides, because that's the kind of politician I am. I used to get shit on in my elections because I wasn't. Why isn't Brisk? Why isn't he saying all the nasty stuff about the Democrats? Well, because that's not who I am. I'm going to be fair. If they do something that's good, I'm going to say, hey, they did something that's good. If they do something that's bad, I'm going to say, hey, they did something that's bad.
Are you saying you're an honest politician?
I'm not saying I'm honest. I'm saying that I try to be fair.
I was like, I don't know.
I'm not going to say I'm honest because I don't want to blow anybody's brains out.
Hold on. There was a time when fucking Eve politics was actually well behind the fucking politics that was happening out there in the fucking real world.
Well, that was
from the US side.
That was the Jay Constantine
we are way beyond over the the real world is making us look like a bunch of fucking pussies. We are so bad at this right now.
We're not as good at it.
The real world is way crazier than fucking Eve politics ever was back during the day when normal human beings walked the earth.
Well, I will say that I think Trump is a better troll than Doom Chinchilla. I hope he doesn't get upset.
Probably.
With
No, I think Trump has had longer time to do it.
More
that being said, we've got 9 minutes left in the show. Yes, I can do math, motherfuckers.
Clearly, you haven't had enough shots yet.
It may be 8. Hold on, it's now 8 because
it's now 8. It just ticked over.
I think we should do a shot purely for the fact that it's 8 minutes to the end of the show.
At the end of the show, I'll chug the rest of this fucking Tito's bottle out. But I do want to throw out there the fact that look, if you guys want to put your own fucking corporation or Lions fucking video up at eVegas, which I totally fucking recommend because motherfuckers from another part of the world will actually watch it and shit like that. They won't watch it and join your shit, but they will watch it and laugh, which is all you care about because it's the Facebook generation. Okay.
Real quick.
No. Facebook is old.
Wait, real quick.
It's like Instagram and Twitter now.
7th Estate, right?
That's that. Yeah, matter of
7th Estate.
The 7th Estate issue. I think that's a good transition.
No, we're not gonna fucking get into whether or not fucking gin.
It'll take another 45 minutes.
Fuck, I'll go do that. Exactly. We don't have that kind of fucking time. Believe me, as much
Tell
as
him what happened.
Fucking sit there and be like, Jintan's no longer part, but he's part of the Imperium. So guess what? A 6th CSM member.
Here's what happened. Okay, Jin was working to create another coalition. He wanted to get into the big meta game. He was creating a new coalition. He was doing it, unfortunately, with Jay Maricady, who was basically trying to talk to everybody and doing his diplomatic stuff under a pseudonym. People didn't know who he was.
Just trying to rehabilitate himself. And those of you out there who are Democrats think he should have rehabilitated himself because he was just trying to be part of humanity again, but you wouldn't let him.
For those who don't know about Jay has been around for 15 years. He's been involved in a ton of different stuff. He was in Bob leadership. He was in a bunch of different groups. Most recently, he was in the DRF, and people claim that he was part of the reason why the DRF failed. And both sides don't like him. Everybody hates his guts, whatever. So anyway,
not everybody. People who believe in rehabilitation.
Jin
whether
didn't hate
or not, if you murder somebody, you should get out in the first 5 or 6 years. They believe that.
Jay has said over and over again,
except for Jay and Eve Online,
that he wanted to leave Eve having left something that would be better than what he had done before, because he recognized he did a lot of bad shit in the past, and he was upset about it, or at least he was contrite about it. and he wanted to walk away with something that he built that was good.
Can't people be able to rehabilitate themselves within our game? If we don't believe in that, what do we believe in? Just like
Dirk, you are such
corporal
a fucking
punishment, or like
we believe in ults, Jin.
Like
Dirk, we believe in ults.
The death sentence.
Good, McLeod. That's
we believe in ults.
Now, I try to defend
point
him
is valid. It is much more complicated than what I am saying, but that's essentially the backstory.
Anyway,
I'm trying to trick you, by the way.
Were bad at some time, but like, can we not allow them to like learn from like other mentors in prison and shit like that, and like come out and be like, I served my time. Can I not just be one of you again? No, you will always be that guy.
Basically because Jay hasn't actually fought enough fires.
Can't we have a 12-step program in Eve?
You gotta shoot one of those.
Why is it always 12? Why is all these step programs 12?
Like, dude, I had 13 and I had to carry my wet regs up.
Can we not?
So y'all
can we not do like a
10-step?
Like, I mean, like, why
10
12?
steps is so 2015, man.
Hey, listen, I don't think he was trying to I don't think he was trying to make amends and play Eve. Like, if he would have created an alt,
she take those steps out and make it 10.
Kept a low
so now
profile.
you're trying to predispose, like, his idea of what he was willing to do after the fact. It's like, Matterall, how is that part of like who you are as a player behind the keyboard?
I think writing an article and bringing somebody out into the spotlight can be seen as griefing a player who's trying to like start over and do it all over again, whatever. But I think after talking with Jay, I realized he has no remorse about the situation when it happened in a significant way.
So he's wearing a skin. And
but there's a difference. There's a difference between. There's a difference between there's a difference between allowing someone to be rehabilitated into society, and then sort of a difference between like someone saying, oh, you might want to you might want to sort of be cautious about this dude. He's on a sex offenders register.
I can defend him in the abstract, but I can't actually defend him as him because
Isn't that where you live, though? You kind of live in the abstract.
Absolutely.
You live in the what if.
Absolutely. But when you get to know the details of it, the guy was not coming back to just be another player and to mine and live in obscurity and just enjoy the game. He was coming back to try to be a power broker, I think. Because he didn't just, give them money and hang back. He gave them money and wanted to have conversations with people and stuff like that. He wanted to buy his way back in.
He was buying his way back in. He was basically...
Everybody you think that was bad is literally going to fucking still be bad. Like, just later on, they may mask it and all that. Like,
I think if you're bad in Eve, you're bad in real life.
And for those of you out there who are thinking, oh my God, Dirk, but that's you? Yeah, probably. I will literally probably fuck the fuck up again at some point, okay?
Please don't do it while I'm on screen. I have a political career to think about there.
Under the fucking bus at some point again.
So, all right. So, anyway, getting back to the story for those who aren't aware of it. So, basically, Jay was masquerading as the curator. He talked to folks, and they were on the brink of getting a deal with the Imperium to be blue, so that they could move up to Fade and try to take over that territory. And at the last minute, people figured out who he was, and the Imperium pulled the deal off the table. That made basically, and not only that, Mittani said that because everybody that was in the leadership of Seventh Estate realized who Jay was, that they were blacklisted from the Imperium period, and Jin basically and Jay both resigned from the leadership. So this group that was getting started and was being basically bankrolled by this guy who was trying to start over or whatever, it ended up blowing up. So Jin has quit. He's left. He's backed out.
Well,
he's doing everything. He's basically decided that he wants to be.
Like Jin didn't know what the fuck was going on there.
Jin knew what he was.
Where was Jin's fucking mind during this whole goddamn thing?
I don't think
no one's actually
how much folks didn't like Jay Marikady. I think that he didn't realize that.
Jin Tan didn't know that?
I think realized how much people disliked the guy.
I think Jin did, but I think Jin was in a situation where he needed money to do stuff. And Jay was basically like, "Oh, I'll bankroll this."
I need money to do stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's how Jay has influence. I still would not take
money from myself.
That's how he has influence, though. That's. I think in Eve you can buy opportunity that way. I think, and that's what.
I'm always super fucking cautious when people say, "Oh, when they try and sort of like get an edge into something somewhere by saying, "Oh, I have this, I have that," because it's like. It is to me, it's a telltale sign of like someone's trying to fucking like muscle their way into something.
the higher level meta of this, like if there's tinfoil and there's like some aluminum foil over the fucking top of it, and then like I don't know, maybe sometime late at night, mom comes in and wraps saran wrap around it. It's like,
yeah.
At what point does somebody sit there and go, what did Jin know and when did he know it? And like, is he now just trying to fucking back out on his own ass of like, he was hiding this shit from his own fucking line members, right?
Yeah, he probably didn't think
and
it was
important.
important.
Love fucking Jin, but at what point are you willing to make something happen with somebody you know who will be the guy that blows it all apart if like one part of that is known?
Well, that's part of the thing. I think Jin made a mistake in that regard, and now he's paying for it. So the denouement of the story is Jin resigned from some stuff of the state, and now he's hanging out with some of his former friends that were in Pentag and CVA, and he's basically taken a step back from everything. He's gone dark on Twitter, gone dark on Discord, and he's just focusing on the last turn on the CSM Summit, I should say.
Jin's a
the last
cool
tournament
bro.
and CSM Summit.
Jin's a cool bro, okay,
Jin's
who
great.
plays this game
Jin
in a fucking active manner. Do we want a guy like Jin to be fucking backdoored because
I
like
don't
he
want
made a
Jin
mistake
to go.
or like whatever it was?
I'm happy that Jin has joined an Initiative Mercenaries group, so I can say he's an alliance member of mine. And he and I have talked multiple times over the last 6 months. We are working together. We're going to do some stuff at the summit together. We're going to do some stuff after the summit together because I think he's a great guy. He's one of the few guys like me who's willing to take information from all the players, regardless of where they are, and bring that to CCP because that's what I tend to do on the CSM. So I'm looking forward to working with him. But I mean, frankly, I think he was trying to make a break into the metagame, into the bigger picture of EVE politics, and he fucked up. And now he's taking a step back, and he doesn't owe anybody anything. He doesn't owe anybody anything, so he's going to focus on himself, focus on what he wants to do, and move forward from there. And I'm looking forward to working with him in the future.
Are you saying that because of like
Brisk,
CSM or Initiative Renter or?
I am saying he's not Initiative Renter. IM is not a renter. They're our
Initiative Pseudo Renter.
They're not pseudo renters. They are our feeder alliance. And I'm happy that he's in there, and I'm sure that if he wants to be an initiative proper, he could probably get in. I think he could get in almost anywhere because everybody likes Jin. Jin's a good guy, but he made his decision. He did what he did, and it is what it is. So I'm looking forward to working with him. I think he's going to be fine, but he wants to get out of the spotlight.
That coalition fell apart because like Jay was a part of it.
I think that's absolutely
because there has to be something out there, right? That's is the fucking something that comes up between the two big blobs that are out there? Is there anything?
Jay needs to donate his money without asking for influence. That's what needs to happen, and that can still happen if he were to do that. But if he doesn't do that,
donate your Keepstar without like bending down.
I am donating my
how do you
Keepstar.
do that?
I am doing that. You can do that. You can give wealth away without asking for a self-interest. And
if anybody wants to do that, I'd like to buy a Ragnarok, so I will take your money.
That's what the Sanctuary Keepstars actually are. Is there are people that are doing that? You inherit a great wealth. What do you do with it? Well, you can keep it for yourself. You can buy yourself toys, or you can try to do something that benefits people other than yourself. And that's what the Sanctuary Keepstar movement is. And if Jay were like that, he would have given a bunch of money and not asked for influence to play the game in that way. He was buying access, and that's not okay.
This may be the whole thing about inheriting your wealth and what do you do with it afterwards versus earning your wealth and what do you do with it afterwards. It's like Warren Buffett fucking earned his shit and then did his thing with it, right? Like Paris fucking Hilton.
Well,
maybe this is the fucking difference between people who just like fucking inherited their shit versus actually fucking earned it over time.
Yeah, I have to say on the whole buying access thing as a lobbyist, buying access is okay.
Hey. However you get your fucking access, bro. By the way, do you know where lobbyists came from? I learned it the other night, and Netflix is always like falling asleep.
I know the story, but if you want to tell it, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You tell it.
The story basically was that back during the Grant administration, everybody knew that.
It literally happened in fucking England.
No, it didn't.
I was completely.
You can talk about the Houses of Parliament and everybody going and hang out in the lobby before they go in the House of Commons.
Yeah,
but that's
because
bullshit.
there was this place called the fucking lobby in the fucking House of Commons, and it was like, hey, you can come in and totally talk to Andrew Rees-Mogg.
That's bullshit. The true story is Grant would go to the bar at the Willard, and everybody that was a lobbyist would sit in the Willard bar, and they would wait for him, and they sat in a lobby.
That sounds like
when he would come over, they would grab him and talk to him that way. That's American. Don't believe the British lies. Lobbyist is an American term.
We wouldn't want lobbyists. Lobbyists is just
Grant
fucking terrible.
I was watching this shit on Netflix the other night. They totally told me.
Fuck them. Fuck on Netflix. I do this for a living. Plus,
Netflix is designed to be dramatic.
So annoying. It was like back in the day. Fuck Wikipedia.
Hey, I wrote a law review article on lobbying. You can look it up. Trust me. That's the story.
All right, so
the House of Commons.
I don't know.
I'd believe it because I don't really see that much lobbying going on. Like, especially in comparison to like US. Like, holy crap. Like, I don't get the kind of like the feeling that shit's getting lobbied in our political kind of process in any kind of sort of situation. What's up?
Can I ask you a serious question?
At this time of night, fucking go for it.
No, seriously. I'm going to ask you a serious question right now. If Jacob Rees-Mogg came to your front door tomorrow morning because I asked him to be there, would you have him in for tea? Like, if he walked up to the fucking door and said, Dirk McGurk sent me, like, would you not look at him, number one, and go, seriously?
I may invite him in literally to sort of figure out how the fuck you knew him and got him to come here.
Because these people were human beings back before they became the thing you think you know on fucking TV. And Jacob was my fucking boy back in the day.
To be fair, there was a specific aspect of Jacob Rees-Mogg who, there was a news story about him, like I think it was at some kind of demonstration at a university that he basically he basically argued back at like people who basically came at him. Like in a very sort of a very confrontational way, and it was awesome. Like he's one of those people who you expect would basically cower in those sort of situations, and he basically like just stood his ground, and it was pretty cool.
I want to name this war, Matterall.
Let's do it, or you do it.
There are very fine people on both sides.
That's right. No, that won't do.
We have to name this war. Either that or it's the server war. Because
certainly don't have to name the war. Just fight it first and then name it.
I believe that we have to have a neutral kind of name for wars. We can't have like wars that like people are fighting over the names afterwards and like that becomes its own war and shit like that. So it's like it's either the server war because everybody's like opposed to the server, or there are just very fine people on both sides.
World War Eve. There you go.
That doesn't
That's
work.
already been rejected.
Now, World War Eve, World War B, like, that kind of shit just, like, it doesn't fucking work.
World War B was never the official name of it.
I think what we know is that there are, in fact, very fine people on both sides. And the server sucks. So it's like, pick your fucking poison.
Okay, Donald.
I'm just glad that nobody's actually said the particular name that I fucking get triggered on.
I threw two
out. Like if you look at it from the southern point of view, this could be something along the lines of the purging the casino money war. Like there's
look. I am a firm believer that this is just a continued extension of the casino war. The casino war has never ended. We are going to fight until everybody that fuck with us is dead. So this is still the casino war, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, there's a whole revenge aspect to it. I mean, there's different ways to make.
I'm really
kind of
tired. I gotta be honest. I'm tired of hearing how fucking casino money meant the thing to that whole fucking war. It's like, like
why? Because
Dirk, I'm sorry that you
honestly,
don't like
while
facts.
I know it fucking mattered, okay, it's like I also know that fucking malfeasance mattered. It's like all these things mattered at the fucking time. Can we not just fucking pick a war that can be like a historical name that we can just like throw back context to after the fucking fact? We can't throw
Professor Jedi says
forward.
War of Northern Aggression. I like that. That's pretty good.
That was, but it was way too fucking high level for like the normal F1 pusher.
It was actually not the War of Northern Aggression. It was the War of Solveless Aggression.
The War of Solveless.
Oh yeah, it was Solveless Aggression, but like, it's a different thing.
And that was hilarious and interesting at the same time, but it just didn't catch on.
Think about it now, though.
Although I would say it was kind of interesting that this war didn't really end up being like a full blown kind of like almost New Eden kind of like all encompassing New Eden war until PL kind of went down south, right?
It depends on when you consider the beginning of it. It's actually, PL was kicked out of Providence by, what are they called again? Test.
Test. Tappy.
Yeah.
Tappy Sanctuary Keyboard? No, it can't be that horrendous.
This goes right back to the continuum of war. These are hotspots in the continuum.
Oh my God, you're totally trying to lay out on your player fucking presentation last year where there were friends that are all there, not like making friends with
Matterall, you have to come to Vegas and do another presentation.
All my friends were gone.
Like, honestly, we can link all these things, but honestly,
I've done too many lately.
Is there anything left in Eve other than grudge wars? Like
that's all Eve ends up being. That's all Eve ends up being.
It's like, did somebody else bang your wife?
But that's how it.
But that's what it is. Like we're still fighting the war against Bob technically. Like it's a grudge war. It's always been a grudge war.
Well, Arendis made that point. Yeah, the Great War.
Arendis is absolutely correct because he's the smartest guy.
That was one of the things that I said long ago that CCP could never fucking like.
I was going to say like
in hate.
He is in TS. Like if you want to bring him up.
Hate. You need to have hate in a game. You need to have the fucking other and all that shit. But it's like CCP can't develop for that. Is that the only thing left to?
I think Drayden needs to do it.
Drayden, move Arendis into the chat.
Sorry,
I moved him up. He's in here. Arendis
is the smartest guy I know. Talk, Arendis.
Okay, I need to adjust some stuff.
He's too smart.
Hey, Arendis.
You can't bring Arendis in late in the night. He's too smart.
Well,
Arendis isn't that smart.
On the whole,
he's way too smart.
Grudge war thing. You got to keep in mind that that's not just Eve. Like if you look at World War II, World War II is actually a continuation of World War I.
Correct.
The Treaty of Versailles. And World War I.
Every single war in the 20th century was the result of the Versailles Treaty in 1919.
Not even that. World War I starts off as reprisals for the Franco-Prussian War. Which goes back even further to the Napoleonic Wars, which it's all this big huge grudge match that goes back almost as far as the fall of Rome.
Yeah, but the thing is
Trump right now, right?
the thing is horrendous. Like there's a different big massive fucking difference between the wars that we have and the wars that actually happen in real life. People fucking actually do die in the real wars. Like people don't actually die.
Sure.
Permanently in wars.
People die in real wars. Nations die in real wars. But you know what? The bitterness and spite and revenge issues don't. Those persist. Those keep going.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
keeps going.
Thinking between like Israel and Palestine, like that's a grudge.
They just want blue jeans.
Well, Israel and Palestine is a whole other ball of wax. It's entirely because of the British. But
I don't want to hear about blue jeans from
literally
Mr.
don't
Communist
give a shit
here.
about whether or not they have a border now.
What?
Slovakia and the Czech Republic literally don't give a shit that they have a border now.
That's different. It has nothing to do with it.
How is that fucking different? Because
they never fought a war against each other.
Fucking narrative?
They never fought a war against each other. They're just two different
Nicaragua and Honduras are both like, fuck it, we'll go north.
Into Czechoslovakia.
Please talk to him. I don't want to deal with it.
I do got to take off, guys. So.
Well, just
yeah, we're past time.
I am sorry I brought this into IRL, to be completely honest, but I just wanted to make a point.
We're 50 minutes over.
You are
No, we're not. Drayden.
Drayden, there's nobody behind
being
us.
Over
Drayden, don't all of a sudden find out what a fucking clock means right now.
I want to take a shot for the fact that we're 15 minutes over. How about that?
Okay, we'll do that. I'm just saying, like, my mouse went in the bottom corner, and Windows was like, "Hey, it's 8:15."
The same number of people have been watching us from the beginning. We're good to go.
Hey, did you guys know there's a fucking update to EVE coming on Tuesday that was like back launched because World of Warcraft came out?
Damn it! I already had a shot poured, and I just poured another shot into it.
That
nice.
would have probably fucked you
This
up.
is the problem with
Snorted
tumblers.
Having doubles, man.
So
It's having doubles.
It had nothing to do with WoW coming out.
That being said,
had nothing to do with it.
What
this past week should have been all of the things that happened during the EVE release, which I had in my fucking show notes. Except
and they
for the
pushed
fact
it back.
that,
What?
Where is it? I lost it. Somebody deleted it. Did you guys delete it? Did you guys
delete what?
Like,
Your show notes,
unchart me?
I didn't touch show notes. I didn't even know when I didn't even know we had show notes.
The show has show notes.
I feel like Drayden's gonna snort his shot right now, and that's
He's
gonna
like,
totally make everything good.
No,
I gotta bail. See you guys.
Good night, Adderall. Thanks for coming on.
Adderall's fine, bro. It's fine. It's
all
good.
right, Adderall's gone. I'm gonna totally blame him for deleting your show notes, Dirk.
Give me a chimichanga.
In the nose again. Why does it always happen? Why, when you cough, does it put stuff in your nose?
Because
what a dumb function of the body.
Because your nose is connected to everything, dude.
That's stupid. It shouldn't be.
All right, look. Did you guys even remotely talk about the whole suspect flag on fucking Abyssal sites?
Nope.
We can, but who cares?
No, I think we touched on
it. Who cares? Who cares? People who care about the economy.
No, it's actually is gonna matter next week, because with the event that's coming in, the mutaplasmids are gonna hit the ancillary reppers, which is just gonna be insane.
If you care about the fucking Eve American economy, then you care about that shit.
Look, I talked to all the high-sec guys for quite a long time, and I tried to bring up the fact that the Abyssal changes were the first new PvE that was in the game in a long time, and they have a great opportunity to use them. And they firmly told me this is BS. It's not true, because we can't run 4s and 5s because nobody wants a suspect timer because we're going to get killed in high-sec. I said, but the fact is that all it does is it creates the same risk that you have in nullsec when you're running these. So you guys can run them the same in high sec. They said, no, it's horrible. We're not going to do it. So I'm hoping that we will see over the next 2 weeks or however long the suspect timer is down, that there's a big uptick in high sec running of these missions. And I've asked for that specific data when we get to the summit. We'll see what happens.
And you know what? I fucking hope that Code realizes what's happening and that they go and gank a whole bunch of people coming out of 5s.
I will tell you, but you know what, McLeod, they have, because I'll tell you that we were noticing it today. So Tony and I were talking. There's been an uptick in ganking of Gilas and specific, Abyssal runners in high sec, specifically because of this. So I think they've realized, all right, they can look and find these guys and go gank them, and that's been a thing. So we'll see.
That's how it should be. Because, if high stackers feel like they need to have some kind of like immunity to be able to sort of do level 5s and just be able to sort of waltz out of that fucking out of that site and sort of have a free run all the way to Jeddah to be able to sell their stuff, nah, fuck that.
Drayden, wake up.
No, sorry.
I'm there expecting that Matt's gonna sort of like
his nose in booze again.
No, I'm writing on. I'm trying to multitask, and it's not working.
Really?
With his face.
I don't see you out there in chat typing a bunch of shit that fucking matters.
Well, maybe that's not the task.
I'm here, still alive.
It's in the sub chat.
I don't know what shot to do next, like whiskey or vodka.
A shot? Why don't we do like a half and half?
A half and half? Well, I don't know what half and half would be fucking weird. Yeah.
Don't be a bitch.
No, it's like, I'm not just.
I'll do half Macallan. I'll do half Macallan, half fucking Russian Standard.
I've taken a whiskey
you can't do fucking Tito's and fucking like. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you go on Amazon in the UK, you can get fucking Tito's.
Dude, I've done a half and half. I've done a vodka shot or a Wisconka.
We're not trying to do a.
Have you seen the vodka that I'm using? Have I shown you the vodka that I'm using? I don't think I have.
Are you doing a Reka?
Don't do Reka. If it's Reka,
are you doing a Reka because of like fucking like hot points out there, or like, you know, whatever.
What is that?
Whatever it is you
I
get
can't see, it's too
on
small.
fucking Twitch.
It looks pretty.
It's Russian Standard Gold vodka.
No,
I actually bought it in Russia as well.
It's literally right out of the tap, but it converts to vodka.
But yeah, this is the fucking thing.
Fucking happens. That's how it happens where those individuals who are part of drinking vodka live. See, I didn't say those people.
I want to drink a Russian vodka. I've been drinking Stoli.
Finns and Poles?
No, everybody like sits there and says fucking like Russian Standard.
Stoli is my thing.
You don't want fucking Swedish vodka.
I don't want your Grey Goose French stuff. I don't want your Absolute Norwegian, whatever it is. Give me Stoli and I'm happy.
The thing is, the way that vodka should be drunk is like straight from the freezer. Vodka. The thing is, the way the vodka should be drunk is.
I do have a bottle of Kettle One in the freezer for my wife, but that's because she likes it.
Yeah, Racer LB's right. Polish vodka is much better.
It's like Mexican fucking tequila. It's like, please give it to me chilled.
Polish vodka is okay. I give credit for that. Yes. What is that? Belvedere is the Polish vodka.
I don't even know about that. I'm not sure. No, I don't think Belvedere is like, but there are some Russian
sewer water filtered up through vodka mishmash.
But yeah, this is a half and half. So
Belvedere was never that because, like, I thought Belvedere was cool back in the day.
Yeah, well,
when I started, I say was the thing. Everybody wanted that. Yes, Belvedere is Polish. Ah, I knew it.
To be fair,
I don't even drink. I don't even drink clear liquor.
Semi-potato,
I knew
right?
Yeah.
Can you make vodka out of anything? Can you do like vodka out of like fucking like the linoleum on somebody's floor?
Well, what are you? Are you trying to find something to do with?
I'm trying to find out.
It doesn't have to
all
be
these
potatoes.
things
They
end
also
up being
make it out of wheat, and they make it they make it out of rice.
Like shit.
Like Stoli, for example, brisk is actually made from wheat.
I thought it was paper. Don't they flavor it with paper?
It might be flavored from paper, but it's wheat vodka.
Nice. Oh well. I know Belvedere is potato, if I remember correctly.
Everything can kind of be vodka, though, right? Like, what is?
I mean,
I shouldn't say what is grain, but like honestly,
could be corn too.
What is like anything that can be like, you know, made into like high octane fucking? Is it only
it's really
grain?
anything just
because
starchy.
when people say grain, they're like, oh shit, it's grain.
Potato is like the high end vodka. That's what everybody wants. Is potato vodka. That's what they want. Now corn is great. I'm a moonshine guy. I'm a southern. Moonshine is great.
Soviet Union, but like, is that the same now?
Well, what you want is you want dense starches, and potato tends to be the densest stuff you got.
There you go. See, Arendis is smarter than all of you combined.
See,
did you know that?
This is why fucking bringing Arendis in the end of the show is retarded because
he's
brought him in way smarter.
But he's sober and we're not.
Cap, I'm cheating. I'm sober.
But
I can't. I'm diabetic.
Hey, you can drink. Hey, you know what? Whiskey does not have carbs. I know this.
It has alcohol.
Alcohol is carbs, but it's
alcohol.
Like fake carbs.
Alcohol
fake carbs.
crashes and then spikes your blood sugar.
Yeah, it's sugars.
That was like Bio 101, which I did like in fucking like
high school,
sophomore year of high school.
So I thought I'd
take wait a whole goddamn moment. Doesn't that mean all this shit fucks me up? They're like, yeah.
Besides, next week I'm going to be drinking at a party, so I gotta watch it anyway.
Oh, Doug, I can actually buy some Tito's. Do I want to buy some Tito's or not?
Yes, you can from Amazon.com. Like
I'm looking at it right now. It's actually a Prime. It's a Prime.
You go on Amazon over there in the fucking UK, and they're like totally unBrexited.
I was very excited that all of my Plex sold tonight, so now I have money.
Why would you sell it so fucking low? What the fuck?
I need money.
It's literally at.
I'm trying. It's not even a Ragnarok.
It's not even at a 6 month low. It's at a fucking year low right now. It's ridiculous.
I don't care.
I really hate to encourage Dirk when he's like this, but I think the idea of actually ordering like a new treaty with the EU on Amazon would be hilarious.
That would be great. I should have bought the German whatever when they were like selling like Plex at like $6 or something. I should have had my German guys buy me a bunch of stuff, but I didn't because I'm dumb.
How much Goldschlager is on Amazon?
I need more ISK.
Okay, number one, I walk to the side when I'm going to take a fucking piss, and I know that fucking Goonswarm could not initiate a treaty with the EU.
You don't know that.
Why not? They're big.
I'm actually not sure because Greece did, but still. I am pretty sure that the fucking Goonswarm Federation cannot actually weave their way in to, like, negotiate a treaty.
To be completely fucking honest, I would prefer Madrigal to be, like, making the deals between Europe and the UK.
Like anything, that bitch.
Be fucking damn sight better than ours. Remember? But either way.
I really wish I owned that Keepstar that night. I would have been like, really? Really? No, I am not letting you have my ass.
So what am I drinking this half and half for then? I think Drayden's dead. Oh no, he's not dead.
Told you. No, I didn't. I told you to, and I took a shot before, but am I taking another shot?
I'll take another shot with you. I don't know what for though.
I will admit I am lost in a text based on religion, and holy shit, it's going somewhere.
Whoa! Don't get lost in text based on religion.
Oh, you crazy?
Yeah, Abaddon brings up a really good point. What do people think about the rumors of a new next generation MMO?
And now I can't stop.
Well, hold on. Arendis, what?
I don't know what that is all about.
Somebody in chat's asking about, what do you guys think of the rumors about CCP doing a next generation MMO?
We saw that because of the one. That's what I can tell you.
Who knows what they're talking about? I don't know. I'm looking forward to whatever the first-person shooter is that's going to replace Dust. That'll be fun.
Oh yeah. I look forward to
PC based. The only reason why I didn't get into Dust was it was PlayStation only. If it would have been PC based, I would have played it.
You know the fucking crazy thing? I actually bought a PlayStation to actually to play it, like solely to play it.
I bought a PlayStation to like play it through the fucking tutorial, but then also do DVDs because fucking Sony PlayStation fucking 3 back in that day was
that was boss. The best Bluetooth. That was the best.
Well, the other kind of
it really was.
The other kind of cool thing about PlayStation 3 is the fact that it plays Blu-rays. I didn't have a Blu-ray player at the time, so I kind of thought, you know what, I'll buy it, and if worse comes to worse and the game fucking sucks or whatever, I still have a Blu-ray player.
I still got a Blu-ray player.
I want to kiss the Best Buy guy that I walked up to like 10 years ago and said, hey, my wife was with me. We were like, we want to buy a Blu-ray player. What's the best Blu-ray player out there? And he walked us over and said, this is a PlayStation 3. You should buy this. I was like, thank you, dude. You're fucking awesome. I still have it. It's in my basement.
He was not lying.
That was great. That's fucking great. That guy knew his shit.
It was the best ever.
I'm gonna drink this half and half. I'm gonna drink this half and half. Out of respect for that guy's fucking skills at selling you a fucking PlayStation 3. That was
I have to say, I was weird. I am the dork that will own every single gaming platform. We've got a Wii, we've got an Xbox, and a PS4. So,
you need one of the you need an Oculus Rift and one of those like running, like fucking sort of like the big pedestal things that you can run on like for like VR games and stuff.
I've got an Oculus Rift and I've got the PS4 VR thing that I got for Christmas. So I've got
Fragile,
all that. I got everything.
They did fail on the Vampire MMO, but that's because they kept stealing the team that was working on it to do walking in stations, and then fucked that up.
And then they ended up, didn't they sell that to Paradox? If I remember.
Yeah, correctly? They sold off White Wolf to Paradox, and Paradox spun it back off into its own company. Vampire 5th Ed just came out.
Now, I will say, I thought Eve Valkyrie was great, and I'm sad that they're not supporting that anymore, because I had a lot of fun playing that on the Rift.
You see the article the other day that sat there and said that was the premier thing for all that was VR.
It was of all the VR games, I think that, and then there was one game that I can't remember the name of where you were a robot that was in space and was pretty good. But Eve Valkyrie was like the best VR game that I played of all of them.
It was literally fucking grandstanding at the time. When, like, at Eve Vegas, I sat there and sat in that fucking chair. Like, I didn't give a shit who I shot. I was looking around, all around my fucking self, because it was like, wow, this is fucking amazing. But as a game, it was literally the standalone game at the time that VR fucking launched in a real sense.
I mean, when I bought my Rift, there weren't a lot of games that actually worked for it, but Valkyrie did, and it was great. And I had
the big thing that made Valkyrie work better than most of the other VR games was that you were sitting down for it. Like, you weren't supposed to be walking around.
You have to stand up.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like your sense of your body fit sitting at the computer.
Yeah, it was that kind of thing where, like, when you actually put everything in, you're actually, you're in the tube ready to sort of go off into it. You look down and you saw your legs and everything like that in the same kind of manner that, you would see your legs if you look down because you're sitting down. So, it made everything fit.
Valkyrie was great, and I think the other best Rift game that I played was Lone Echo. If you guys didn't, Lone Echo was awesome. That was one of the best games that I played in a long, long time. And you're a robot, and you're in space. It was really cool. Like, the first time you go outside of the ship and you're like in real space, I felt like I was in the Expanse. It was great.
Oh, that must be fucking awesome. Drayden, you must let me know, like, if we are actually like gonna overrun into somebody. But
no,
do you remember that girl that used to come on after us and make like cooking shows?
I think we have like 12 or 14 hours till the next show.
Oh fuck yeah! Good point.
Oh my god, we're 12 hours from the next show on INN.
There's no overrunning. It's just like, if we get super dumb, you got to cut us off.
What happened?
Fucking 24 hours.
What happened to that girl that used to do cooking shows after us?
Oh, well, no.
She's suing me.
Is she on Fatby TV now or something?
I'll be right back.
No, Julie. Julie's awesome, but
no, Julie's cool. But like, she's suing me in his cooking shows. Like, what happened to that?
She got rid of the cooking shows, and she got rid of the stream after us because
she sued me's cooking shows about meth. And
we can't do that on Twitch. We can't do that on Twitch.
We can't put that on stream.
Oh my god. That's it's so accurate.
Are you?
It's actually not accurate. I'm sorry, Chi. I'm not. I don't. It's true though, but it's not true. It's not true, but it is.
Fucking Dirt.ru is a bunch of mess streams.
She's like, check me out on my Patreon. So you can buy him as Drano.
Do you guys remember back when Matterall started off his whole fucking like Matterall Patreon thing with Matterall meth?
The fuck?
Nobody remembers the early days of Matterall when he was just like trying to get people in.
He should have just changed his name to Metherol.
Metherol, exactly.
Metherol.
We told him that back then, but he didn't claim it.
It sounds like a compound, right? A chemist would be like, "Oh, Metherol, what's that? Hold on, let me look it up."
Exactly, but like he wasn't willing to go with that because he had a whole fucking higher standard and shit like that.
Like methanol, that actually sounds like an organic compound, not an organic.
Organic compound.
Origami?
You will never be able
Why
to
do you want an
live that
origami compound?
Call
What the
your
fuck?
organic
You know
ass.
what's organic?
Well, you know
All
the
that being
definitions
said,
of
Shizumi right now is out
Well,
there
it's not
sitting
organic, but it's organic.
Shizumi
ethyl
is sitting there
alcohol.
going, how can I not get the people of West Virginia University to not buy my shit?
But hold
I'll
on.
move
So
to Kentucky.
it's not organic, but it's organic. But ethyl alcohol, which is this right here.
You can maybe fucking do it.
Yeah, I think it's Shotsky's time for the.
I feel.
Did you know?
I tried to open it the wrong.
Did you know that there's nebulas
I've
out of the
actually
galaxy
never
that are
fucking
made
said
of
this,
ethyl?
but I feel like I'm empty.
literally nebulas made of drinking alcohol. They're out there.
Dude, there's
Well,
fucking
There are nebulas made of
there's
alcohol, but there's never a nebula made of drinking alcohol.
No. Ethyl alcohol.
there's diamonds the size of fucking
this-
planets out there, bro.
Dirt. The active ingredient in this is ethyl alcohol, and there are nebulas literally made of ethyl alcohol, ethanol. Like that's ethyl alcohol.
The party is fucking popping it over there, then. Clearly.
Yeah. Well, now they're so.
I'm totally
dispersed
fucking
that,
so dry. I
You're talking
literally
about,
licked the
like,
last bottom of that nipple
probably
out.
dozens of atoms
Oh, shit.
per square meter. Maybe more, maybe less. I don't know, but like it's such a small amount. But if you take it over like light years of expanse, it actually becomes a nebulous cloud because the concentration is enough over a certain area that it's there.
Hey, Drayden.
Yeah.
I will never hold tonight against you.
I feel like
Could
there's
you?
a butt coming on.
That sounds ominous.
But
yeah.
Not a butt.
Is that
Because
that's
the
what I said, could you?
cloud's
I was like,
hosting it, motherfucker. You got a free pass tonight, bitch.
Oh
Did
yeah.
I?
What? Huh?
However,
I did get a free pass.
McLeod, I just want to give you the same notion that I give to Drayden at the beginning of the night. Please, don't let shit go fucking bad. And Drayden always bypasses that shit.
I'll try not to.
I'm totally trying to hold you. Look, I'm the fucking queen, bitch.
This is the free pass because I usually am the one that has to shut down Dirt.
Yeah. Gotta
And
shut a motherfucker down.
I usually don't in time, and
You
then I
can't
hear
big
about
pimp this.
I usually hear about ladies like, "Why the fuck did you not shut me down?"
Yeah, why
I'm
did
like,
you not
"Dude,
shut me
because
down?"
Dirk's doing fine.
Because you're like a roll."
I've been listening to open comms when that shit has been happening, and I've noticed when that fucking stuff
Exactly.
has
Yeah.
gone
Can we
fucking
not-
super
can we not just
downhill.
have a bologna
And so
sandwich and,
don't worry,
max out?
I got this.
Super sideways.
I got this.
McLeod, are you
See,
going
this is
to
why we
Vegas?
hire a guy from across the world.
Probably not. I probably don't have the money
We
to
gotta pay
actually go to it.
McLeod. We gotta pay McLeod.
That's too bad. Well, if you do make it out this way, Drayden owes you a beer.
Fuck yeah, he does.
Big old fat beer.
It's been more than a bit.
I'll even buy you a beer. Fuck it.
Oh.
Am I wrong?
Dude, fucking
for,
awesome.
At the Jersey Shore, my daughter and her friends, I sat there and said, "Yo, you want to fucking drink? You think you can drink like in hiding back home? Go, let's go right now. Boom, let's go."
Dirk, you should have them on open comms and we'll have a drink-a-thon.
I literally the week before we left had the girl who left, the Angelina, fucking on open comms the week before, and then she left because she couldn't hang. That girl right now, if you guys fucking rewind back to those many weeks ago, okay, she was on here. She comes from a broken home. It's one of those things that you might have wanted to GoFundMe or whatever, all those things are that people do. The fact of the matter is that poor girl called her boyfriend and said, "Please pick me up before somebody kills me." And it was nothing more than girls being girls. It wasn't that crazy shit where somebody pushed somebody off a bridge. Did you guys see
how
that?
old is your daughter, Dirk?
Dude, do you not listen to this show? She literally grew up on the show.
Yeah, I do, but I don't listen to that part. I don't.
No, you don't listen to the whole fucking like what's her age?
No, I don't pay attention to like when people talk about their kids.
He's not perving out over your kids.
It's not talking about her kids. Like she's actually been on.
Like, is he
I've
ignoring
seen
the
her,
whole
but
fucking
I
age thing? Is
cannot
what's bothering me right now.
Visual. What is your age by what I see?
However, if your daughter is standing on a bridge and her friend pushes her off and she breaks 6 ribs, are you not a little like miffed about that?
I have a daughter. She's 16 years old, but she looks 22. That's why I'm asking.
Well, hold on.
We need pics of this
don't
shooter.
say that on our show
up?
because that
Yeah,
would be
I know,
Vegas. Everybody's expecting you to bring your daughter.
No, never, ever, ever. You will never see her, ever.
But because I missed some of this because my headset wasn't working, I'd just like to say Geno's has the best cheesesteak in Philly, just FYI.
That is a 3-way tie right now.
Is that like a promotional thing that you get something from that?
Shitsville joints?
I don't care. What I will say is that I will wait in line at 2 a.m. for Geno steaks, period.
Oh,
fucking
bullshit.
hell.
That's fucking old. That's fucking Geno's Pat's bullshit.
Fuck Pat's. It's
Yeah,
Geno's.
you can say fuck Pats because that like will get you a half rank in fucking Philly Stadium. But like honestly, Geno's Pats, that is like so fucking like what, like 6 years ago, I think.
Look, I will say I will give them credit. Me and my best friend who lives in Philly, we went to Geno's at 2 a.m. I was wearing a Redskins Donovan McNabb jersey, and he was wearing a Tony Romo jersey, and
Yeah, because they literally don't give a shit. They'll smear fucking cheese on
we
whatever.
didn't die. 2 whiz without, that's my cheesesteak. I like it.
Philly
Geno's
cheesesteaks
steaks.
is not what it used to be. It's like it just really isn't. Now the fucking pork sandwich, on the other hand, that's where you can actually like fucking talk about how a fucking sandwich is made.
You should come to Camden Yards to an Orioles game. I'll take you.
A fucking crab cake?
Get Boog's barbecue. You should be eating crab cakes
tonight.
tonight.
To have a Baltimore flavored crab cake?
Give you Boog's barbecue at Camden Yards is the best. You gotta have it.
Can't I just go to places where I actually have to spend money and get value for money?
Like a pizzeria or something?
You gotta
No,
wait
I
great
mean,
enough
not these
too.
places that just want to fucking like name their names for where they think they're at. But it's like the whole idea of a Baltimore fucking crab cake. It's like, please, a Baltimore crab cake hasn't been fished out of that fucking place in like 12 years.
That's a lie.
20 years.
You can. We've actually had pretty good Chesapeake Bay crab harvest the last couple of years. Now, granted, that doesn't mean we still don't get a lot of crabs from Louisiana, but still, the Chesapeake Bay crabs
who
are
the fuck
good.
wants an alligator crab out of fucking Louisiana?
They're
Except
good.
for a Pro God Legend.
I'll take Louisiana crabs.
Because
I'll take Creatures
at
from
least
Louisiana
Pro God
too, isn't
Legend
it?
was legitimately fucking LSU back in the day.
Isn't Creature from Louisiana too?
Hold on. Just because he's racist doesn't make him fucking LSU.
I'm positive he's from somewhere down south.
Yeah, I know you're positive because he's from somewhere down south.
It's because I remember listening to Matterall's.
Fucking Bama?
I remember listening to Matterall's Talking in Station CSM interviews, so that's why I remember it.
I think
Preacher got
actually
fucked up
dead.
this year, didn't he? Preacher got literally fucked up this year, didn't he?
Just a little
It
bit.
was a shame. He would have won too. He would have been on.
Well,
Judge
of
would
course he would have
made
won
it.
because he was Test's first ballot.
Correct.
And then
Hell yeah.
Jin won, which is what's making me concerned about you, Brisk. Because
What?
Jin is now fucking in it. And next year, I'm thinking something's going to come up about you right at the last moment that's going to throw your ass out.
Derek, you have nothing to worry about.
No. You completely and totally kind of misinterpret how kind of in it feels about Brisk. Like in it is 150%
Like, right
behind
now,
Brisk.
right
Just because Jin Tanner's now I am
Everybody's
does not mean that
150%
like they're going to be
behind
like,
Dirk,
well,
Dirk, I'm gonna
we
just
fucking
say this. I'm pretty sure that Brisk would rate above Jintan on
Would
the
he?
coalition-wide ticket. Yeah,
On the
Brisk-
coalition-wide
Bri-
ticket. Hold on. So therefore,
Especially
like, ahead
after
of
this.
Brisk,
like
Ahead of
Brisk's
Jin Tan, but also
CSM.
ahead of
Brisk's
Judge?
CSM is basically like the equivalent of like, you know, fucking being I don't know, fucking a parent to a baby. Like, I don't know. It kind of feels like that. It kind of feels like that. It feels like something special. It doesn't feel like, oh, we've just put our like sort of our votes behind, like, you know, the obvious kind of choice kind of thing. Like, it feels like we actually did something properly awesome.
This whole past year though, right, was like Brisc was this guy that was like just, you know, kind of like out there semi-running kind of thing, right? Like, where is he going to end up next year? Is he going to end up ahead of the fucking Jin? Ahead of the Jin Tan, who's got like...
Fuck yeah. I think so.
Here's what I'm hoping. Here's what I'm hoping. If I decide to run again, I would like to do as well as I possibly can, because I'm trying to be as straight about this as I can. I'm going to represent everybody. I'm going to get my initiative guys on board. I want to get the Imperium on board, because you know what?
But Jin's
I'm Imperium as there is, but at the same time, I also want folks to know that I will take their issues and bring them to CCP. That's why I've got my list. That's why I talk to everybody. It's why I put HiSec and wormhole stuff up on the Evo forums.
It's
trying to get everybody to have a voice.
Not changing Concord.
Well, the polling was bad. We're not changing Concord. Polling said no.
Polling said.
But look, I've talked to all the HiSec guys. I've talked to as many wormhole guys as I can. I'm on their Discord. I talk to them all, you know, every day, almost. I'm trying to be the guy that goes out and listens to everybody that doesn't have a voice. We'll see what happens, but you know, hey,
I swear to God, I am totally misreading shit right now, because LB is like, don't you want to be the Brisc who will be the Sullen Decimus? And I'm totally fucking like missing words in that whole fucking thing.
I love Sullen
because I want to be
the guy that just assumes that I'm going to win and then
right now.
Not pull it out. You know, I feel bad for Sullen because I think Sullen's great. He and I got along very well.
Or the year before?
It was the year before when he, you know.
The year before.
Yeah, that was bad. And it was just
feel bad for the same man the next year.
Well, it sucks because I think he did a good job and everybody liked him, but you know, he was just a slightly bit too far down on the Imperium ballot, and unlike this year, you know, being that far down was not able to carry you to victory.
I love my man Sullen, but you know what?
Sullen's
2 years
the man.
in a row, it's like, oh no.
Well, you know,
but you knew the writing on the wall, though. The thing is, Brisc, you knew the writing on the wall. You knew that it was the you know, the first, was it the first picks that, like, you know, was basically like the strength of whether you were going to be in or out.
Well, that look, being fifth on the Imperium ballot was a huge deal for me personally. It was great. It was Mittens and the guys saying, "Hey, we trust you." That meant a lot to me. Well, but the fact is, I knew that I had to get every single first ballot vote that I possibly could, or else being fifth on the Imperium ballot wasn't going to make an ounce of difference.
After you got elected, or before?
Before.
Way before.
Way before. I was trying to. I mean, look, we were tracking every single vote that I got.
For you, motherfucker.
What? Say it again. I wasn't listening. I was talking.
Before the votes were cast, Mittens and the guys were totally pulling for you, like down below those other people.
Well, yeah, because of the video. If I hadn't done the video, they wouldn't have no idea who I was. So I mean, fortunately, I did a good commercial and people liked it. I got to find something to do to top that next year, assuming I run again. But I mean, we'll see how it goes.
It was the whole building full of judges thing. That was fucking awesome.
I mean, that was fun. I had a good time writing it. It was fun. We had a good time doing that video. But I mean, look, I before I talk about running again, I got to do a good job this time. If I suck it up and I'm shitty and don't get anything accomplished, then, you know, what's the point of me running again? So we'll see.
Think, honestly, I think where you really need to focus on is actually getting to the summits, and don't make your decision based on whether or not you accomplish anything, because whether or not you accomplish anything in a lot of respects is actually up to CCP.
Right.
Focus on whether or not you can deal with being in a room for 8 hours with those people for a week solid twice.
They smell bad.
Well, Zamuri is not there this year, so.
If I can sit in a room with Ted Kennedy for 8 hours, I can handle this stuff. So
hold on, he smelled like alcohol. that meant you just wanted to go out and have alcohol afterwards. If he smelled like armpit, you would have been like, "I'm not going out for armpit after this."
Well, like I can hold my nose. He's not there this year.
I'm a politician. I should get Manic as my video guy, though. That was pretty. Actually, I thought Sullen's video was great. If it had only happened like a week or two before, I think he would have done, better.
Yeah, he would have done a lot better if it was a little before.
I totally give you credit for being the guy that wants to go out there and be like, look, I got elected by these other people, but I am still here to represent you. I think that is what is totally fucking cool about you, and I hope that is what you actually fucking prove out.
That's what I'm doing. I mean, look, when I say I put it on my list,
because
I've got a literal list of stuff that people.
They're like, "Oh no, you're just a fucking Imperium fucking nugget," and it's like, shut the fuck up, you low class fucking. You're not even a fucking wormhole low class bitch. It's like, stop it. Listen to the fucking guy.
I have done my best to try to listen to everybody and try to. I mean, look, Sword is doing. I have listened to the guys that aren't a big deal. I've listened to the guys that are a big deal. Sort and I are doing a town hall with the FCs next weekend, and I'm going to try to do some stuff before. Jen and I have talked about doing town halls with regular players. Talked about faction warfare stuff. I worked with Satonia. We talked about Wardex.
Don't let them
all kinds of stuff that has nothing to do with nullsec. In it, goons politics. So we'll see. I'm trying to do my best to represent everybody.
You.
Wormholers are people too. In fact,
let us go.
One of my friends in a wormhole today asked me why confessors have not gotten a free cool skin from CCP. So I sent him an Imperial Jubilee confessor skin because that's the kind of guy I am.
Hold on, everybody who emailed you sent Jubilee skin.
People outside of the initiative may not realize this, but when Brisk appears to save the day in a Imperium Associates kind of system, to save to basically be part of a fleet that basically stops someone's Rorqual from dying. They appreciate him in local chat. It's fucking amazing. It's awesome.
Our renters love me because I have no problems YOLOing my shitty ass 3-year-old frickin' Nidhogger into anything to try to save their asses when they get dropped on.
It's funny. It's funny as fuck.
We do it. It's fun. Drayden looks much more awake than usual right now.
I think I think he's kind of come back out.
Is he not in a fucking whorehouse now?
To be honest,
he was dreaming of Vegas hookers.
No, I was in a philosophical debate, so.
A philosophical debate.
If that's what you want to call it, all right, fair enough.
We can call it that.
Sleep, I think.
But you know what? I just did a toast like this and it spilled onto my fingers, so I'm gonna do a shot and then lick my fingers.
Well, I can't have you doing a shot on your own, so I'm gonna have to do a shot as well.
I got nothing left. I gotta be honest. It's it makes me sad.
You got nothing? You got no gas?
This is even a funny joke back in the day when BC was around. I'm dude, get your Kirkland signature fucking vodka and let's roll.
Can you suck on the man? Can you suck on the flooded carpet? It's probably fermented.
No.
We need Kirkland protein bars flavored vodka. Right would be great.
Damn. Although I keep pouring shots.
You guys know that fucking Vegas is coming in less than 60 days?
I know. My wallet knows. My bank knows. The level of beatdown. Look, I'm not even saying that next week I'm booking the hotel and the flight, and then I'm broke. And then the next month and a half, I have to save up as much money as possible to have money to buy shit in Vegas.
Drayden, I don't want you to ever think that you need to feel like you need to buy yourself a meal, but I'm just not going to let Somalian take a flight home.
Who's going to buy me my breakfast? Hookers at Denny's or something?
You have your own fucking tendencies where, hookers
I buy hookers breakfast.
Blow and shit like that happen at Denny's. It's I'm not saying I'm not going to walk in your room. I'm just saying,
hold on.
I need you to have a room I can walk into.
Dirk, it's 2 at a time. So if I want breakfast,
damn, that's like double penetration.
I just can't go to like get breakfast. I have to buy 2 hookers breakfast.
Well, they're pegging in, so it is.
Right.
That's
like double penetration because they got
rally the bitches.
strap-ons.
Dirk, it's $40 to have a fucking omelet.
No, it's not. I will fry a
then
fucking egg
don't
in my
pay
fucking
for the
room for
hookers
you.
omelets.
Oh my god!
$40 for an omelet.
It was
apparently
$40 for an omelet.
It was a $40 omelet for me because I also bought her a American Slam and the other girl some biscuits.
You gave her an
and gravy.
American Slam.
I sure fucking did.
I feel we're getting quite close to the edge at the moment, Rick, to be completely honest.
She's not marrying you. Do not fucking buy her shit.
Jesus Christ, man.
I still need to get my room
She's
for
not
Vegas.
willing to actually put a ring on it. It's like, don't fucking Beyonce that shit.
It's like stray animals. You don't feed them. They keep following you.
Right?
They did follow me. That was
I see that big old cloud of
Dre,
organic
did you take your shot, by the way? I didn't see you. I was laughing too hard.
Your brother sees that
Good looking
too.
out. Good looking out. No, I did not.
Okay, let's do
Just
this.
to say, I poured a shot, and then when I said like I don't have a shot, I poured a shot on top of the shot.
This is why
All right, shots, bitches.
Go.
Late at night, where I'm like, it's all good, right? And she's like, I guess so, but others may disagree. It's like I don't have the fucking capability right now to figure that like conversation out.
Oh my god.
Brisket, I tell you that you're beautiful lately.
All right, whatever. I'm going out right now.
Brisket is amazing.
Parmesan. I gotta fucking
He is
go
a good looking
because I
man.
like
I love you
actually
too,
fucking
Chef.
pre-ordered for this show.
All right.
Love
Yeah,
y'all
we
bitches. Oh my god,
Yeah,
what
we should
mouse
go.
is this?
Are we
I've
done?
got
Are we
like
finally
2
turning
mouses
this
on
off?
my fucking
I
side.
think we're
An hour over.
I think it's a good time to cut
only
it. I think it's a
55
good time
minutes
to cut
over.
it.
Yeah,
So-
because otherwise it's going to go to a really ugly place.
It's just gonna go to a really ugly place, like like the Jumanji movie. I mean, like nobody wants to be Jack Black. Like Briscoe Ball will be Jack Black, even though he doesn't want to be.
Yeah.
Try not to be.
I mean, I'm gonna be the hot chick, obviously, right?
Well, okay.
I'll be the
sure,
Rock.
don't doubt me. Come on,
I'm
man.
not doubting you. I'm just saying, okay.
No, that
it takes a couple extra beers to get you there.
That was a doubt hum. That you only need one beer when you get the room. But anyway, all right, we're out. All right. Oh, also, okay. Once again, McLeod, thank you so much for hosting
Thank you,
tonight because
McLeod.
I was not able to do it, and we could not skip 2 weeks in a row. So thank you very much for hosting tonight.
Hey, bro, it's all right.
Yeah,
I had fun. I had fun, and I'm feeling quite fucking tipsy right now. So it's all good.
Oh, same here.
There you go.
Nice.
All right.
We all are.
Well, all right, so we're off for the night, and we just did a shot, so that counts for the shots of the road. So we're
right.
gonna say
Later,
later bitches, and later bitches.
Later,
Good night,
bitches.
McLeod, on behalf of humanity,
You're
I
welcome.
apologize for what you just had to go through.
It's totally cool.